nobody's right. Smoke in the streets, truth under attack. Everybody's loud, nobody's got facts. Feeds keep scrolling, nerves stay tight. Matchsticks flicked in the dead of night. They sell fear, cheap package the lies, while the clock keeps ticking, empires on fire. Can't sit quiet while the world's on edge. Lines in the sand, standing on the ledge. No script, no leash, no polish, quiet. Just a voice in the dark and a spark to the wire. This is and I'll bring the fire. Gonna light it higher. No filter, no fear, I say it raw. Strike the match, let it burn through the fog. This is and I'll bring the fire. And I'll bring the fire. Everybody's selling truth like a brand, buying opinions they don't understand. Talking in circles, screaming online. Keyboard courage, borrowed spines. Yeah, power plays dressed up as peace. Same old wolves with different teeth. But silence is loud when the house is burning. And the fuse is short, yeah, it's still learning. I don't dance for the left or the right. I stand in the heat, I stand in the fight. No strings, no chains, no manufactured choir. Just gasoline thoughts and an open lighter. This is and I'll bring the fire. Gonna light it higher. No filter, no fear, I say it raw. Strike the match, let it burn through the fog. This is and I'll bring the fire. And I'll bring the fire. World's on tilt, pressure climbing. Truth don't whisper, it's perfect timing. You can't cancel the smoke, you can't stop flame. Say my name when it hits, say my name. Why? Say my name. Say my name. Fire don't ask permission. Fire don't need a side. Fire just shows up honest and exposes the lie. This is and I'll bring the fire. Truth is harder. Burn it down till what's real survives. No smoke, no mirrors, just heat and lies. And I'll bring the fire. And I'll bring the fire. American fire. Strike it. Let it speak.
Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. I had some of you scared, didn't I? I saw it. I saw the panic. Where is he? Where'd he go? He's late. He's 5 minutes late. Oh, my God. I get it. I'm trying to be more professional now. Be on time every day, Monday through Friday, 12 o'clock for those who don't know. Yes, I do this 5 days a week and sometimes more, depending on what's going on. But yeah, sorry, a few minutes late. Trying to get it all together. My goodness, there's a lot to cover since Trump signed this deal yesterday. My goodness, they are so much going on. There's so much to break down in this deal and what Trump's been doing abroad, plus the attacks. I don't know if you guys know this, but the neocons are big mad. And not only are the neocons big mad, but we're getting a lot of the City of Londoners big mad, the globalists big mad, the liberals big mad. So all the right people are very angry about this deal. And that's a good sign. That's a good sign, I'd say. One of the reasons they're angry, I mean, look at this. I mean, oil prices are plummeting. They got down to 73 at one point, but already under 75. Oh, man, those midterms. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for them to hit Trump on prices with once gas is down around $2.50 or less during the midterm. So they're not going to be happy about that. But man, they are going after Trump. They are really going after JD Vance. And that's one thing we're going to talk about a lot today is the whole attack on Vance, which is interesting. You know, I usually don't do a lot of segments on Vance, except for lately I kind of have to because it's taken up the news. But after yesterday, his very successful roundabout of media coverage that I covered, but they're also very mad at him about this deal, and they're warning that we can't have JD Vance in the future. Again, it's funny to me how all the people who should hate Vance who do hate him and don't want him to be president in the future. That's interesting to me. The question is, have you fallen for the PSYOP? So we'll break down more of that. We have massive wins going on in the Justice Department and what changes Trump is bringing, including yesterday was the first Fed meeting with Kevin Warsh, and he gave us some major insights into how he's going to be changing things. Everybody has been wondering about, will justice come to the markets? Will Trump fix the markets? Well, Kevin Warsh gave us big signal on that. The markets are going to be fixed. We got Fagaland podcast to Stan Tucker. Big mad. Tucker is all over the place on this deal. He had his thoughts, so we're going to talk about that. And then a couple other smaller things, including the Obamas. You know, yesterday, Obama, I don't like to talk about Barack Obama very much, except for when he looks pathetic. And the Obamas came out, and did they signal that they're quitting? Very interesting timing. Are they pulling out of politics? It's interesting here. They're definitely taking a step back after their library launch yesterday with some looking ahead. Now that's interesting on the timing as the globalists are getting beaten back. Are the Obamas trying to save their own bacon? I don't know, but we're going to look at that. And then also Rogan. We're going to talk more because Rogan had a lot to say about the UFC fight. So I want to cover that because it did end up being, the reports are 150 million people tuned into that UFC fight on Sunday. That is absolutely massive. And based on what Rogan's saying and others, I'm telling you guys, there was a shift on Sunday. So loaded show if you guys didn't gather that. So hit that like, hit that subscribe. We're going to get jumping in here in just a second, but I got to say hey to the peeps. I got to say hey to the people, man of the people here. What up, Ace Smokehouse numero uno tonight or today. Pat M, Wago Waco, Golden Code, Bobby Girl, Nick Majors, Chiara Maria, J-Dog, Jeff Jingles, Francis Riley, John RN, Christina, Tammy Anderson, what's going on? Gen X Mega, Papa Tags, Scott Volkovich, Sandman, J Tyrus, Saved by Grace, Shogun, Threads of Hera, Rafe, Not Miku, Lisa Doxy, I always like saying these names. Swamp Fuel, what's up? Marco Sanchez, Mr. Bedhead, Vince Felice, Dowg, Sean Dugan, US1, what's up, man? It's been a bit. I haven't noticed you in a bit. Candid, Doug, Beef and Rockmore, City of London got to... Did you guys think I was kidnapped? Christina, Bev Miller, John Dank, Mark R, and so many others I just can't get to right now. And holding it down, that's on YouTube. Holding it down on Rumble, we got Pixel Snap, AZ Tropic, Chrissy Katz, Don Julio. Welcome, guys. Aloha, Patriot. What a do. What a do indeed. Alrighty. Well, guys, you know the rules. Please feel free to light up the chat all you want. Just be honorable and respectful, especially if you have disagreements. We do ban the trolls. I know there's a lot of people who don't like it. And sorry. Actually, there's not a lot of people who don't like it. Only the trolls don't like it because they want to come and blow up chats, ruin shows, all that stuff. They don't like that I ban them. They don't like that I take away their power. I always love the free speech argument. Oh, what about free speech, bro? I thought you were conservative. Yeah. I'm not the government. I'm not the government. So I will take you down. I'll take you down to Chinatown. I'll meet the parents. Jen says, I voted for O Butthole. I confess my sins. You are forgiven, my child. Many people were duped by Obama in the old days. Because listen, it's not like Bush was great, okay? And we just didn't know I didn't vote for Obama, but I'd already been conditioned to be Republican. But I'm not gonna lie, I was very much on the neocon side of things. I was a Bush supporter. So we've all made our mistakes. But yeah, after that, Obama came in, hope, change, and people being like, we just wanted to vote for a black president for history. So there's all kinds of reasons. Obama came in under the perfect storm. He was the Manchurian candidate. He did all the stuff to just like, they really could have destroyed America. They really could have, but they did not. They got greedy. They were in position. They had the guy. They had the setup. They actually had the people behind him for a bit. He had 60 senators. Can you believe that? 60 senators when he first came in. And, they got greedy. They fell apart. The Americans, man, we, as soon as they pushed a little too hard, too fast, we stood up, and that's kudos to the American people. And then Trump gave us the direction. He gave us the leadership and consolidated the base the way it needed to be consolidated, brought Americans together, not, the Democrats who were upset, wanted things be back to a better place. The Republicans who hated our leadership and were done being screwed over and lied to. He united them, and now we have one of the greatest movements in history happening, and it's a great time to be alive. We've taken back our country. Now we're just spreading it. Now we're in the cleanup mode. We got the control, we got the power, and now we're seeing it through. That's when the real work starts. It's like with when a business owner takes over a failing business, or a new CEO comes into a failing company. They won. They're in charge now, but the real work then begins. And that's where we're at now, guys. We did the fight. We won the fight, and now the real work begins to make it last and to get it going forward. Jay says, I didn't like Bush, McCain, Mitt. Just shrugged my shoulders, voted for the lesser of two evils each time. I hear you. I voted for McCain and Mitt. That would hurt, especially voting for McCain. That one really hurt. I didn't know how bad Mitt was till later, but I never liked McCain. But Bush, I was all in on Bush, man. I got duped. I got duped by the Sean Hannitys of the world. But I was young. And dumb. And it's not about who you were, it's about where you're going, right? And if you're willing to grow. So let's see here. Let me check. So, all right, guys. Well, you guys know how it works. I'm going to go through my segments. In between, I will stop in the chat, catch up with you all, answer the questions and comments that I see tagged, see what stands out to me. Do my best to engage with the community as much as possible. So please tag me. And if you want to support the show, you can always send a super chat. Those are guaranteed to be read and answered. Also you can join the membership if you really like the show. So we're going to get going into it just a second. I think the data centers thing is just something we gotta, I'll say this on data centers. I don't think anybody really knows. I see it in the chat right now. We'll have to talk about data centers. We don't really know what's going on with the data centers. We're waiting to see. Reagan, I think Reagan was a good man. I think Reagan people are saying Reagan was my first vote. I was so proud. I didn't realize how good Reagan was till much later. Comments. Listen, I maintain Reagan was a good man. I believe he wanted to really change things. And then he got in. They shot him. It was much more difficult than he imagined. The deep state, the House was still run by Democrats. He couldn't do it. And it was the wrong time because we still only had so much media to cover. So that it was like the American people could only be woken up so much. And I think Reagan tried. I do. But I also think he compromised too much, especially after he got shot. And we got some terrible things out of Reagan. Amnesty. People forget. He amnestied 3.5 million illegals. We got Anthony Fauci, who took over our health industry, allowed big pharma to take over, allowed tobacco companies to buy food companies. Yeah, some terrible things happened under Reagan. Under Reagan, vaccine manufacturers got exempt from being held liable for vaccine injuries. So, some of those things really hurt us long term. But it still doesn't mean he wasn't overall a net benefit to the country. But some of the things we have to just hold him accountable to. In order to move forward, we have to have an honest conversation about where Reagan did fail. But I grew up, man. When I grew up, I was taught like Reagan was like the Republican Jesus. It was like Reagan was the standard by whom all others were weighed against. And so you could not criticize Reagan when I was growing up as a Republican. But he did do some good stuff. He did scale back the government, albeit more temporarily. He did start the trend of cutting taxes and cutting regulations, which honestly no president before him since 1913 had really done very much of. So Reagan did do that. He did make America cool again. He made it cool to be a patriot, be proud. He did defeat the Soviet Union. So, I mean, there are definitely very good things about Reagan. So you're never going to hear me hate Reagan. But man, after we know what we know now, it's like Trump is so much better. It's not even funny. Like, I grew up, Reagan was a 99 out of 100. Now Reagan's like an 80 out of 100, or 75. He was good. He was passing, but that's just how bad our presidents in general have been. It's because, Clinton was a D-, Bush was an F, Obama was an F-. It's so if Reagan was a C or a C+, that's solid in our modern era. And Trump is right now, he's solid A-, and by the time he's done, I believe he'll be A+, because considering what one man's doing against all these odds, it just, you got to factor that in too. Violence says Reagan was a decent president. These days, people insist on hero versus villain because God forbid we acknowledge people are complicated. Well, yeah, that's true. That is true. The other thing that killed Reagan, and I didn't know we were going to get into this, but we'll do this quick. The other thing that really hurt Reagan is that the Republican establishment was still so entrenched back then. They forced George Bush Sr. on him. And by forcing George Bush Sr. on him, they embedded the deep state into his administration. Bush Sr. had been CIA director. I mean, he's the original OG. Well, he's not the original. Woodrow Wilson's the original. But he is one of the big guys, one of the big deep stater globalist City of London controlled assets in our history. George Bush 1, way more than George Bush 2. And, that Mark Zettel said Reagan's still 99 out of 100. How can you even say that after everything I just listed they did wrong? How, amnesty alone knocks Reagan down 10 points. Amnesty, dude. Amnesty. Are you listening to yourself? There's no way he's a 99 out of 100. That's crazy talk. Be honest about Reagan if you want to have an honest conversation. It's hard to take people serious when they still venerate Reagan as perfect. He could have vetoed it. All right, let's see. Last couple things here. Fraud conference in Vegas. No, I didn't get to look at that. Sorry. Oh man, we got somebody who just has no idea what the Trump stuff. Dude, listen. Are you Smiles and Twisted? Are you even serious right now? Why are you watching this show? Why are you watching this show if you hate Trump so much? Because you obviously have no clue what you're talking about. You're all emotion and no logic. So I don't know why you're even here. Tea Party began threads of MAGA. Yeah, I would agree with that. Although the Tea Party also got co-opted by the libertarians in a big way. And we've learned that the Tea Party was wrong in some ways. government spending is terrible, but it's also not the end all be all of everything. Trump and Bessent have really reframed the debt issue. While it's still serious, it's not nearly as serious as it was, and actually they make a lot more sense. So, let's see here. Violence says the GOP establishment demand we kneel at the altar of Reagan. That's true. And you got to remember the, Zettel, I don't have anything against Reagan's economic policies. I have things against the fact that he let vaccine manufacturers be free of liability. So they never can be held liable because of Reagan for vaccine injuries. He's the one who put Fauci in charge of our health. That's gone really well, hasn't it? And our food. He's the reason Big Pharma is what it is, because he let Fauci build that up. That happened on Reagan's watch. And then amnesty. I mean, those three things are massive, massive big things. So there's lots of, Reagan's just not perfect. Kika says, why can't we pinpoint the actors behind City of London? How do you think these people and their legacy coming to an end? How does it play out, you think? This is a great question. All right. I guess we're doing a little Q&A to start off before I get into the segments. That's fine. I'll allow people to walk in. Kika, that's a wonderful question. You want to know the truth? The truth is that City of London might not even necessarily have somebody in charge. You got to understand, it's a system. It's a system of people and players who've all been working over the years to control things through financial regulations, etc., by co-opting governments, blackmailing, using the intelligence agencies. It's not like there's 5 people behind the scenes controlling the strings of everything. It's this long, hundreds-year-old system of families and monarchies and empires and the leftovers of those who've all gained wealth behind the scenes, all gained power behind the scenes, and they've just kind of all accepted together this system, and now they work together to preserve it. We don't know all the names. We have ideas. We have, like the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers. We have Soros. But there's also people we probably don't even know, honestly, and we might never know. And that's just, the reality of it all. I was listening to a podcast the other day. I was like, one of the scary thoughts is there might not even be a boss in charge of all this. It's just like they've created a system that keeps going and that they benefit from. And so they all have skin in the game, even though they're not necessarily controlling it all. We know that that money, that system controls EU leadership, almost every single person in the EU leadership. We know that it's all about globalism, and they don't care about people lives at all. That's why human trafficking isn't a big deal to them. It's like a currency. And so so the thing is how do I see their people and legacy coming to an end? Well, you defund them. You take away their ability to control stuff, like Trump did with the Strait of Hormuz, breaking the control, the monopoly of Lloyd's of London shipping insurance, which 350 plus years, 380 years, I think it was, that they fully controlled all the shipping through Strait of Hormuz. The OPEC, the oil, manipulating the oil, the shadow banking that funds terrorism and proxies like Iran. That's all systems. And you destroy the system, you destroy its ability to continue thriving, you starve them out. And that's ultimately how you win, because you might not be able to catch all of them. Some of these people, they have others do all the dirty work for them. So you might never be able to catch them for a crime, but you starve them out and you break. This is why sovereignty, Trump's whole thing is sovereignty. America first, get America sovereign, get us set up on our own so we are fully in control of ourselves. And then he's encouraging every other country to do it. So once you break the tentacles out of all these other countries and they're all sovereign, you break the system. And once the system's broken, they might still be rich, but they won't have power. And that's ultimately what we want to do. We want to take all the power away. And that's what Trump's doing. And how do I see it playing out? Well, we're seeing it play out. Trump is freeing these countries. Why do you think? Well, we're going to talk about Iran in a minute, but I'll just give you a teaser. Why do you think this deal with Iran is a little more gentle than people want? Because Trump isn't interested in destroying Iran and the people. He's interested in setting them free. And this is why the deal is the way it is. Once you understand that, it changes everything. You get Iran in the Middle East, sovereign and at peace. You get Israel sovereign and at peace. Israel's got a lot of City of London influence in it. They've been tied to City of London for their entire existence in the modern Israel. You break these countries free, they become sovereign. All of a sudden, City of London doesn't have ability to manipulate things anymore for their own devices, their own wealth. So, and we're headed in the right direction. And I'll tell you what, even if it doesn't spread much more, say that Europe entrenches itself and decides to stay there, and just beholden to this globalist system they've created. Well, Trump's setting free the Middle East. He's mostly set free Asia through mostly policies, but China's also doing some stuff over there. We don't have to like China. We don't have to agree with China. We don't have to like communism, what China's system is. But we can also, it's pretty clear to me at least, that China at least wants to be sovereign. They don't want any part of the globalist. So there are allies in this battle. Trump's setting free South America. He's setting through the whole Western Hemisphere. So even if they entrench themselves and Europe stays beholden to them and the City of London continues to exist, it's not going to affect us. We're going to be the boss, the big boss now. Between us, it's what a lot of commentators who study this call ARC, which is America, Russia, China. Not that we're in like a system together, but just that we are the three big bads in the world, the three powers in the world, and all of us want to be sovereign. America, Russia, and China are all interested in just being sovereign countries. We don't want anything to do with the globalists. So by those three countries policing everything, City of London would be much weaker. And we just keep them in their space. And they can stay there as long as the European people put up with it. So that's how I see it going. And I think we're headed there. I think it's pretty clear. Super Dave says Muslims don't want to be free. They want to be slaves to Islam. Well, that's fine. But slaves to Islam is different than being slaves to the globalist system. They might, I think they want to be sovereign in their countries. And, we'll see. And I don't mean all Muslims. You guys, everybody can pick out somebody. Okay. I can pick out Christians who are socialist, communist retards. And I'm like, you guys know that completely goes against our faith? They're like, no, it doesn't. Jesus said to give, so we're going to force everybody to give. Like, you're morons. But I know them. I know Christians who I love, who love Jesus, who are absolutely retarded about politics. And, it's sad. It is sad to me. It's crazy to me, too. I just don't understand it. I do not understand it. But it is what it is. Violence Poetry says, George Carlin point out you don't need a formal conspiracy. You need elites acting in their own benefit because it's a big club and you're not in it. That's true. Yeah, that's true. I think Carlin was very smart about a lot of stuff. He's definitely not right about everything. I mean, the guy was a rampant atheist and pretty retarded about Christianity. But Carlin was very smart about some things. Yeah. And Jesus was a capitalist. I mean, just read the parable of the talents. That really rubs the socialists the wrong way. Let's see. Okay, Lisa Doxy said, watch Maddow Elias interview from Monday. Schumer and Cruz have big plan in the works to win the midterms. You know what I think about that, Lisa? I laugh at that. That is all cope. You got to remember, first of all, I'm never going to watch Rachel Maddow because it's all cope and it's all they are just speaking to their own crowd to give them hope. There's no big plan for the Democrats. Mark Elias has been getting his ass kicked in every single fight he's been in for the last 5 years. He's a pathetic loser, and Schumer is too. I'm not worried about anything they have. I'm really not. About the way Trump is not allowing hundreds of thousands of Chinese students in. They were already here. They're already here. And you better believe Trump's watching them, But Trump is negotiating with China. He's not going to kick out, 300,000 students all at once. I don't like it, but you got to understand, Trump is a pragmatist. He's not an idealist. I'll say this about, and then we got to get to the segments here, but every single person I've met who is critical of Trump is an idealist, whether they're liberal idealists, neocon idealists, you name it, liberal, blah, 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 libertarian idealists. And those idealists always lose because they don't understand how to get stuff done, because they want everything to be perfect. And they're like, oh, we don't do anything unless it's perfect. And then they just are like, why do we never win anything? Trump's the ultimate pragmatist. He's like, I have a goal in mind. What are the steps to get as close as I can to get there? And so he works towards that. So would I like every Chinese student that's a foreign national to be kicked out? Yeah, sure. I'm not happy they're here. But Trump's like, yeah, but I also have to negotiate with China because of all the retards before me ran this country. We are so tied to China that if they completely cut off their goods, we're screwed. So he's got to massage it. Whereas the idealist would be like, kick them all out, and then they kick them all out and screw up our relationship with China. These are the kind of things that people don't think about. And and the other thing, it's I'm pro-life. I know a lot of pro-lifers who are very mad at Trump that he hasn't banned abortion nationwide. Whereas Trump got Roe v. Wade struck down, which is the greatest accomplishment in pro-life movement history. And he got the states to be able to make their laws. And now they're complaining he hasn't done everything. And I'm like, you don't understand. You have to win elections. If Trump outright got a ban through, by the way, Congress would never pass it. But even if he got a ban through of abortion nationwide, and even say it was like a 6-week ban, so it's kind of allowed, or you understand, like in the next election, you would lose another 20% of women. They might eventually wake up, but in the first election, it's gonna be a wipeout. See, people do not think pragmatically about the fact that elections are won with coalitions. Government is run with a lot of, there's a lot of factors and consequences for your actions. And Trump thinks those through, and that's why he threads the needle so well. And Trump is like, I'm not going to let the perfect be the enemy of progress. So progress is what matters. So when you're mad about like the Chinese students, if that's your issue, fine, that's your issue. But it'd be stupid to just kick them all out at once. It doesn't make sense. Not from a pragmatic, like this is a much bigger thing here. Okay. Do I think Trump already has the uranium? I don't know. That's a tough one. Okay. All right, guys, we got to actually get to it, but I appreciate the questions. I do appreciate the questions. So, all right, let's get into it. So, you guys are awesome. By the way, if you do have other stuff, please, tag me. Ginger Beer said finger heart. Thank you, Ginger Beer, the finger heart. That's funny. Appreciate it. Yeah, you guys know the deal. Tag me, super chat, and I will stop in the in between segments, and we'll get back in the chat. So, alrighty, let's do this. So yesterday, massive day, historic day, honestly. Trump signs the deal yesterday. It's a memorandum of understanding. It's not a treaty, but it's still a big deal. And Jesse Waters here to report on it.
The president signed another treaty at dinner. More on that in a sec. But the Europeans are already telling 47, merci.
You've seen European leaders interact very warmly with you at the summit. Do you think that they're coming around to your worldview?
Well, I think they think I was right. I'm sort of always right.
Trump world order. See, the MOU that he signed with Iran, it's a memorandum of understanding, which means we've agreed with Iran to enter into negotiations towards these principles, these agreements. It's not a treaty, and it's not binding yet. However, everything in there is outlined very specifically that the Trump administration will allow Iran to be rebuilt if they come along with their what we're asking of them, which is taking down the nuclear, getting the uranium to us, committing to never pursue nuclear weapons. And there's a few other things in there as well. No more funding of terror, stuff like that. And then they have benefits to move towards. And a lot of people are mad about this. A lot of people are big mad about this, especially the neocons, but the liberals are in there too. In fact, this morning we got, well, not this morning, but a couple, over the last couple days, President Trump lost this war. That's the New York Times editorial board. Wall Street Journal opinion, Trump stages an Iran retreat. Now, this is hilarious to me, and especially Tom Luongo commented, yeah, both sides of the intelligence community are in agreement. But it's hilarious to me because a retreat is the absolute last thing this would be. How do you retreat when you just demolish them? It's not a retreat. They're not attacking us. We didn't invade them. We knocked out all their military capabilities. We choked out their economy. And then Trump was like, hey, it's time. It's time to move on. Now, again, always remember there's way more going on behind the scenes than we know. Way more. And you could look at the timing of everything and how perfect it was all set up. It kind of gives you a tell, right? It gives you a tell that at least patriots are in control, as constantly thrown out to us by the White House. And the other tell to me is that all the right people hate it. Not only as the Wall Street Journal, a bunch of morons, New York Times, obviously they're the worst. But we got people like Mike Pence coming out against it. Mike Pence, the traitor, the Judas in chief. President Trump deserves great credit for making a decision, but I have very real concerns about the MOU now that we see what's in it and what's not in it. The MOU with Iran smacks of the kind of appeasement. Our administration rejected the Obama-Iran nuclear deal, and when Joe Biden attempted to return the politics of appeasement during his administration. I'd urge the president to take a step back, continue the blockade, pursue a negotiated settlement that commits Iran to dismantling their nuclear program, dismantling missiles, and support for terrorist proxies and open the strait. Didn't he just do that? The only thing not here is the continuing of the blockade. So that's pretty crazy. I think he says, failing that, we should let our armed forces finish the job on our terms. Well, that's exactly what Trump said he'd do. He'd go back and bomb again. So I don't see the problem here, Mike. I really don't. But as I talked about at other times, there's political realities here. And the political reality is the longer you stay there and just wait, well, the American people aren't fans of it. The oil prices are still staying elevated. Trump is weighing everything. And what he actually pulled off is pretty incredible. When you factor in, because everybody comparing it to Obama are kind of missing the whole point that we actually destroyed their military. It's believed that up to 85% of all their missile launching capability has been destroyed. Most of their missiles that it's said they still have 75% of their stockpile. Well, they have no way to launch those missiles, and most of their missiles are currently buried underground. Trump didn't just get a deal with them to say, yeah, we promise not to build a nuke, just like Obama did. No, he actually blew up their nuclear facilities. And not only did he do it once, he went back after they attacked again and blew up more of their defense systems. He choked out their economy. He forced the world to restructure where its oil goes. He's got the Gulf states breaking up OPEC and now sending out much of the oil through pipelines so that only 40% of the oil coming out of that area still needs to go through the Strait of Hormuz. He made America the energy capital of the world during this and got deals with Japan and China to now buy oil from us. Venezuela is pumping oil like crazy now. Highest levels in a decade. Trump accomplished all of this. Obama accomplished none of it. So comparing this MOU to the JCPOA is completely a psyop for retards. I'll say it. You have to be an absolute idiot to think this is anything similar to the Obama deal. And again, the right people are mad. Here's Bill Cassidy, the big loser, the big establishment Republican rhino loser who's came in third in his recent primary as soon as he challenged Trump. He's got big words to say, though. He still thinks we're listening. Well, we are for the purposes of this show, so we can laugh at him. Reagan is rolling over in his grave. I'm sure he is. Iran's nuclear ambitions were not curbed. They have learned that threatening the Strait of Hormuz works and will undoubtedly leverage it in the future. These are all the talking points. Iran's nuclear ambitions were not curbed. Yeah, they're buried at the bottom of a mountain. There is no nuclear capabilities right now because their ambitions, okay, fine, they weren't curbed. They were obliterated. Thank you. I'll fix that for you, Bill. They learned that threatening the strait works. Oh, does it? How about 2 months they threatened the strait and we controlled it? Now Iran gets to build brand new infrastructure under this deal only if they obey. And this is the big psyop they keep running. Before the war, the strait was open. Iran was being crushed by sanctions. Not true. They were doing just fine. And 13 service members were still alive. 13 Americans are dead. Families paid billions at the pump. Sanctions lifted and the bombing has stopped. 13 are dead, and that is tragic. I agree with you. But we just took out the number 3 big bad in the world, along with what we all grew up with, China, Russia, and Iran. Trump just showed that they can be dealt with. You can bomb the snot out of them. They cannot come back. And he dealt with it all in just over 3 months, and it wasn't a forever war. And so, yeah, it's terrible 13 Americans are dead. It's also the best ratio and payment of lives versus what we accomplished that we've ever seen in American history. Even the Gulf War we lost, which we won triumphantly in 1991, we still lost 130 or so service members during that. And that was the last time America really won anything militarily before Trump. So yes, it's terrible. It's also 90% less than our last military triumph, which was over 30 years ago. Mark Levin and Israel are big mad as well. Now, this is interesting. Why is Israel so mad? I don't think Israel, I don't think it's the right people that are mad in Israel. Let me put it that way. As Alex Brusewitz posts here, hello, Mark Levin Show. An Israeli source confirmed to Times of Israel, Israeli government will using you and other right-wing media figures to try to influence the president's deal. Now, that's not okay, is it? Now, you guys know me. I'm not anti-Israel, but I'm certainly not a Zionist. And this is one of those times when you got to call out Israel. Why would Netanyahu allow this? Netanyahu plans to use pro-Israel. This is from the Times of Israel, by the way, guys. This is not from Tucker Carlson. This is not from some left-wing sources, not from the Young Turks. This is from the Times of Israel. Netanyahu plans to use pro-Israel senators and right-wing media personalities to influence the terms of a final agreement, citing Israeli source. Netanyahu believes a deal with Iran will be secure, but Tehran will not fulfill its obligations. He plans to use media figures like Mark Levin to get his message across to Trump. Now, this guy, Brusewitz, he's an advisor to Trump. He's not just a nobody. So he's calling this out. Now, that's interesting, right? Why is Netanyahu so against this? Well, we'll talk about that, but let's keep moving. Vance came out, and now he's making a lot of the rounds for all this, and he says there's a strange panic within the Israeli establishment, which I sense where it's assumed that anything considered potentially beneficial to Iran will indeed happen, but that it will happen without the Iranians changing behavior on their part. Therefore, I find this whole wave of hysteria in Israel somewhat strange, because my opinion stems from a lack of trust. U.S. has rightfully earned the trust of this region. We've done a very good job for that particular country and its government. I believe the facts don't support the claim we made a bad deal, which does not make sense considering the depth and duration of parties' relations. So even Vance calling out Israel on this. What I'll say is what I responded to the other day when people were asking me about this. I don't believe Israel is bad, but I also don't believe they're always doing stuff the best in our interest. And they're going to do what's best in Israel's interest, at least as they see it. The problem is sometimes Israel, and I believe especially in this instance, is still acting like things are the way they used to be before Trump, where war, you just fought and you destabilized the Middle East at every opportunity. And that's what Israel maybe had to do. They didn't have a real partner under Obama, under Biden, maybe even under Bush. They didn't have somebody really interested in helping them. Trump, meanwhile, is frying a much bigger fish than just Iran. He's crushing that globalist order that's over there, the new world order that wanted to be pushed by City of London. He's crushing that, which ultimately will be the absolute best thing for Israel. But Israel is still in the mode of, we get attacked, we bomb. We're under threat, we fight right there, regardless of the consequences. We just do it. That might have worked in the past for them, but Trump is doing something much bigger now. And in order to do that, he needs Israel to chill. Not that they can't defend themselves, but that they need to be much smarter about it. And with Iran, Israel's going to have to come to the point where they understand Trump is also setting free the people of Iran. It's not going to happen immediately because the people are going to have to take back their country. But Trump's not interested in destroying thousands of civilians' lives just in order to wipe out this regime. Trump is going to do it over time. He's going to do it through sanctions, and I know they're lifting some of the sanctions if Iran plays along. But Trump's focused on one thing, and that is destroying the City of London's hold on Iran, which means crushing the IRGC over time, which he's done very successfully so far. He's absolutely obliterated their military capabilities. Israel doesn't have to worry about anything major coming from Iran for a long time. In fact, reports are coming out of the military that the attacks on Iran's military capabilities are actually so catastrophic, the cost is incalculable. That's actual quotes coming out of military people that have been going around. Now I know they're anonymous, so who knows? But I tend to agree with it. It makes sense to me based on what we've seen and based on how little Iran's actually been able to do anything. Think of the hundreds and thousands of missiles they fired at us with barely anything landing. Drones, attacks, one after another, all taken out. Iran has been shown to kind of be a lame duck. And so all this talk about how great and big Iran is, it's just not true. And I think that's what Trump's trying to communicate to Israel. We're going to watch them, so chill. And do not screw up this deal. That's what I believe the Trump administration and Vance are communicating. Now, Trump feeling himself, he's throwing out stuff like this yesterday in his press conference amidst the signing of the deal. And apparently a lot more is going on in the Middle East than just Iran. Here's what Trump had to say about Afghanistan.
Afghanistan is kissing our ass, you know that?
So you're threatening to bomb Iran if they don't comply, but there's nothing enforceable in the deal itself. Is that correct?
Doesn't have to be. I let him know. I said, look, if you don't adhere to the agreement, I don't want to do that, but we're going to bomb the hell out of you. And I don't think that they're going to veer from the agreement. What else am I going to do? Am I going to say I'm going to take you to court? Let me take you to court. Let me sue you. No, we're going to bomb the hell out of them if they violate the agreement. I don't want them to. I want them to honor the agreement. Again, the straits close up. Bad things can happen. You know, in war, terrible things happen. Like you mentioned the question before about a school gets hit. Other things get hit. Bad things happen in war. War is a nasty place. I see it. I see it better than maybe anybody has ever seen it. Afghanistan is...
Do you hear what Trump had to say there? First of all, we might get our stuff back from Afghanistan that Biden left over there. That's pretty crazy. So there's this attack on Iran really woke up a lot of people. But the next thing is Trump just made a wonderful point for all the people complaining about the MOU being like, how are we going to enforce this? Trump broke it down so simply and so brilliantly. He's like, what are we going to do? Sue them? There is no way to enforce this other than bombing them. That's it. And they know I'll do it. I've done it twice, actually 3 times if you go back to last year. So in the last 12 months, I've bombed them like crazy 3 times. That's how you enforce it. Do you think I need to write that? Are you guys stupid? That's how you enforce it. And Trump, as always, makes perfect sense. So for everybody so freaking out over this, Trump just gave you the breakdown. That's how you do it. And they know it. I don't have to write it down. Well, Trump adds to this because people are freaking out over what's the word I'm looking for? The idea that Iran can actually gain as they play along. Well, there's criticism of this, to which Trump said this.
So we'll be working on a parallel effort with the Gulf nations to address non-nuclear issues such as the conventional ballistic missiles, which we'll be talking about, and support. I mean, they have to have some because other people have some. You got to have some. Somebody said you shouldn't give them one. And I have guys. I like some of these guys, but I don't think they're smart. Sir, you shouldn't let them have any missile. I said, well, what am I going to do? Am I going to let Saudi Arabia have missiles, but they can't have them? Yes, sir. Doesn't work that way, you know. It doesn't work that way. And missiles aren't the problem. Missiles they hurt a little location, but they don't blow up the planet. So the Gulf nations will address the non-nuclear issues.
How brilliant and common sense is that? See, people, we're at the point where like the neocons especially, but also the people thinking like that, which is a lot of the Israeli types, the Zionist types, they are thinking we need to just destroy Iran. And Trump doesn't think like that. Trump sees Iran as a country. He sees them as a people, whether he likes their government or not. And he's like, well, every country has the right to defend itself. He's like, I'm not going to wipe out their entire military. Hey guys, you know, we tried that once, by the way. World War I, Treaty of Versailles. We completely took away Germany, all their rights to defend themselves, made them pay for everything. And how did that work out? That worked out great, right? Oh yeah, no, the German people got so desperate that they elected Hitler. So yeah, it doesn't work out when you completely emasculate a country, especially a country of 90 million people. You can't emasculate them. You can't like absolutely just make them not even able to function. You treat them like another country. You say, you've been bad. We're not doing this anymore. We're not going to allow you to have the thing that could cause massive damage. But yeah, you know, it makes sense that you should be able to do something if you can, if you get attacked. That makes perfect sense. And like you said, we allowed Saudi Arabia to have it. Like, you should be able to have. Trump sees people as like in countries as, even though he just defeated them and we could defeat them much more, he's like, I'm still going to allow them dignity. I'm still going to allow them to operate as a country. And this is also clue, because that's not the City of London way. The City of London way is wipe out everything, go in, take it over, and then create a proxy state. Trump's not doing that. Trump just said, oh yeah, you guys can be sovereign. We just can't allow you to have the big bads, which makes a lot of sense. Now, Trump talking about Bibi and Israel.
And in some cases, women, mostly men, walking around without legs, without arms, with a face that's been blown to smithereens. It's Soleimani, 95%, 96.2 they say or something, 95%. That was Soleimani did it. Happened to come from Iran, and I blew him up. You remember that? I blew him up in the Valley of Death. He got off his plane, and we followed him. And in all fairness, because they've been wonderful to me, Israel, but they didn't want to do that attack. They were all set the night before the attack. They informed me they didn't want to do it, so I had to make a decision. I made the decision to do it. But it was a joint venture, as we say in the real estate business. That was a joint venture between Israel and us. We studied it for a month. We knew what plane he was going to be on almost a month before. He only traveled on commercial airliners, big ones with lots of people, because he knew we wouldn't shoot him down. He's very smart. But we knew he was going to be on that plane. We followed him. And then Israel informed me that they won't do it. And
This is Trump talking about when he took out Soleimani in his first term?
To make a decision. I had some very good generals, and not the ones you see on television, very good. And I want to thank also Pete Hegseth and General Raisin Kane, who's phenomenal. Okay, these guys are phenomenal. They can't be better. But I had some good generals, and I said to him, well, if Israel's not going to do it, we're all prepared. Do we do it? Do you like doing it or not? He said, sir, if you want to do it, we can do it. How well? We'll do it just as well or better. We can do it ourselves. We don't need anybody. So we took out Soleimani. One of the biggest events to happen, the Middle East, maybe.
And then interesting. So going back to the first term, Trump's been dealing with Iran, taking out Soleimani, which is a big deal. And for all the Israeli criticism of this deal and that we didn't go far enough, Trump just kind of outed them for being like, well, you guys ditched me when I was taking out Soleimani. That's very interesting. Yeah, I think what Trump's trying to do right here. See, we're not pulling out of Israel. We're not going to like pull our help with them, and we're not going to stop being allies with them. But what Trump is doing is he's making it clear a couple things. A, he's obviously not controlled by Israel. That's so obvious. It's such a stupid argument that you're like, only morons still believe that. Okay. The evidence is so overwhelming. People who don't adhere to logic at all, they just want to have a talking point that sounds fun. But so that's part of it. The other part of it is he's revealing to us that Israel isn't, not everybody in Israel is focused on what they say they're focused on all the time. Israel's going in and out. And I think what Trump's showing us is that there are still City of London ties in Israel that he's trying to break, which we've, if you've been watching this show, I've believed that for a long time, because it wouldn't make sense that Israel wants us to obliterate Iran, but pull out of this Soleimani thing. Israel has not always been there for us. Sometimes Israel does stuff that, like attacking Lebanon the other day, that might hurt our deal on the day of the deal. So Trump is putting Israel in its right frame while also not backing away from being allies with them. And that's a very interesting, tightrope he's walking, but he's definitely walking it. Now, they threw out JD today to give us some of the differences between Obama's deal and this Iran deal.
And the difference between the two agreements. So first of all, the two big differences are not even in the substance of the deal itself, but something I said earlier are, number one, the Gulf Coast Coalition loves this deal because they think that it makes Iran weaker. They hated the Obama deal because they thought that it made Iran stronger. They know more about this, and they have more to lose than anybody, including the United States of America, so I trust their judgment. The second thing is where the deal came from. You have to remember, in 2015, Iran had built a sophisticated nuclear weapons program with a nuclear weapons stockpile. So the perspective that we came at as the United States was, you already have a really nice nuclear program. We're going to bribe you with American money in order to stop it. Our perspective and where we're coming at it is, we already destroyed your nuclear program. And so if you promise and show verifiable pathways to not rebuild it, then we're willing to give you some sanctions relief and things like that. So it's a fundamentally different perspective. Now, there are all these substantive differences as well. The Obama nuclear deal allowed enrichment. Ours will not. The Obama deal allowed the accumulation of stockpiled weapons-grade material. Ours is actually leading to the destruction of that stockpile of enriched material. So there are many differences. The Obama deal gave them over $1 billion of American money. This deal gives them $0 of American money. So a lot of substantive differences, but I think the most important differences are where we're coming at it from a position of strength and the fact that our Gulf Coast partners love this deal.
Exactly. Well said, sir. Well said. Now, Trump, as only he can do, while the G7, with all this Iran talk, gave us the exact perfect way to filter what the media is telling us by calling him out. And this is just me having fun with Trump because he's the best.
Have now just a 2-point lead since February. Do you think that they're losing momentum?
Well, I see the Republicans in generics. You know, generics are very important. I don't know how accurate, because I see a lot of bad polls. The polls are very dishonest, just like a lot of reporters, like these people over here, are very dishonest. CNN, ABC, it's a whole group of them over there. They're really dishonest people. But, you know, and really networks are very dishonest. And they have to straighten themselves out, or they're not going to be very successful, because people don't believe them anymore. But no, the generics are very interesting, because the Republicans are coming up strong even before this. You know why? They're seeing all these lunatics, like the guy in Maine with the swastika. You know, for 10 years they've been calling me a Nazi. And now they have a Nazi running. He's got a tattoo on him. I've been denying it for 10 years. They know it's not so, but they've been calling. I don't think they can call it to me anymore. You know, one more.
Rubio, try not to
One
laugh.
more. Go ahead, Peter. Let me finish with Peter, because he's been better to me than he's been to Biden.
Thank you, President Trump. I have a question about this weekend. Why not stick around for the signing ceremony with this Iran peace deal?
I might.
You might.
Yeah, I might. But I'd rather, this is a memorandum of understanding. It's very important, but it might not be the kind of a document that I should be signing.
There's some element to this where you send the vice president.
Isn't that interesting? He said, like, it might not be something, but I love that when he calls out ABC and CNN. Fake news, fake news. They're running an actual Nazi now. Just great stuff. Just great stuff. And again, you know, yesterday I showed you the he's the boss part. Well, the White House today put together a nonstop loop of this for an hour. Over 1 hour of I'm the boss. So good.
I'm the boss. 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 I'm the boss.
You think they're signaling something to us? Went to G7 and are just pushing this. Now, those who've been around in the movement for a while will recognize this. Here's Department of War, the boss, our commander-in-chief. Oh, but look at the picture they chose. Isn't that interesting? That's a famous old picture. If you've been around, you know. If you know, you know. This is all symbol, guys. They're showing us, like, we're taking over. Trump is the guy now. This is happening at the G7. Think about that. The G7 is supposed to be all the biggest leaders in the world, of the biggest, most important countries in the world coming together. And Trump's just throwing this out there right after signing the Obama deal, right after signing the Iran deal. Wild. Right after his birthday, where we announced to the world with the UFC fight, America's back. The People's House is a place of patriotism and Americana. We're all the way in. And then he goes to the G7 and tells them I'm the boss, and now they're all trolling. You guys can think of that what you want. I know some out there will be like, oh, he's just being a buffoon. He's just, this doesn't mean anything. Oh, really? Then why do we keep winning? Why are they continually getting weaker? But, live in your bubble and believe what you want. Trump posted this out today. Oil is flowing. Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. The world will be safe. Stock market's roaring. Jobs are at records. Prices are dropping. Our country is strong, safe, and respected like never before. You're welcome. I love it. I love it so much. And he's right. Right now, going back to May, it's the longest consecutive gas price decline since November of 23. That's when the Biden administration started unloading our strategic reserves just to get prices down for the election. Yeah, how they manipulated our national security so that they could try to win the election. That's what they did. That's the last time gas prices plummeted. And now, because, once Kamala got in, they would have stopped it and prices would have gone soaring, because that would have been their agenda. Get us off of gas vehicles, all electric, all the climate scam nonsense, less freedom, more expensive. But the Trump policies bring him down naturally. And I'm telling you, we're going to beat this recent record because gas prices aren't going back up anytime soon. Not with everything flowing now. In fact, report came out today that within the next few months, they expect such an overflow of oil that they're actually worried about prices going too low. Yeah, that's a good problem for the consumers to have. Trump, to his critics, we're not even pulling out of
How long will you
Middle East
leave
yet.
the U.S. military in the Gulf?
It's a good question. We haven't thought of it. We're really probably a while. It's a good place to stay. The question was, how long will you leave the military in the Gulf? I would say a little while. See how it all goes. I think it's going to go well, but we'll see.
We'll see. So Trump's no dummy. Everybody's like, he retreated. Well, retreat means leaving, right? No, I don't think so. Hegseth, while this is going on, he gave us a little insight into what's really going on. Now, I was kind of surprised he said this. Listen.
For all of our clarity, too many allied capitals seem to still miss something in translation. Too many allies still don't recognize the historic need that President Trump has made clear to them and to NATO itself to reforge a relevant, powerful military alliance. As President Trump put it, and rightfully so, he gave our allies a test to support America when we asked for their help. And too many failed it.
Did you hear that?
Asked for their help. And too many failed.
Right.
He gave our allies a test.
He gave our allies a test. Who's he talking about? Europe. UK, France, Germany, Spain. Go down the list. Gave them a test. They failed it. All those, EU, City of London, NATO. First war since World War II, since the new alliance, that they didn't jump in war with us as soon as we asked for their help. It's a big tell, isn't it? And Hegseth just laid out there. It was a test. Are you guys going to double down on your City of London nonsense? Do I have to really get tougher with you guys? They failed. It was very fascinating he said that. Almost as if it's all planned. Meanwhile, Trump is celebrating China and Russia.
I thank China, President Xi. I was with him, and he stayed neutral, totally neutral, and I appreciate it. And I want to thank Vladimir Putin. He was very neutral. They could have made it much more difficult for us. And I want to say it. You know, somebody would say, oh, that's terrible. He's thinking President Xi of China. Well, let me tell you, I had a long talk with him. You know, they have shoulder weapons to knock down airplanes. That it's not like the real deal, but they're accurate. They're fairly accurate. I said, I would really appreciate you're not giving or selling any of that stuff to Iran. And you know what? For the most part, he didn't. So I just want to thank them because they made it a lot better.
Isn't that interesting? We were always told, you know, I was growing up, and I believe all of us who paid attention to politics were always told, you go into Iran, it's World War III, because Russia and China are joining it. Everybody believed this, at least as far as I know. Very few didn't, at least. I'll put it that way. Including Christians with end time stuff. Like, oh, you go to Iran, that's the beginning. That's Armageddon, Gog and Magog. None of it happened. Interesting. That Trump calling them out now. ARC, America, Russia, China. Funny he mentions them by name as like the other sovereign nations that could have stirred things up. Tested our allies. They failed the test. Russia and China passed the test. Interesting. You know, make of that what you will. But it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear who we're cozying up with these days, at least in this season, where our big enemy is the City of London, Davos globalists. And I think, like, once you see it, you can't unsee it, right? Trump also had to take a dig at China, which made me laugh. They have their, well, they don't really work. It's the Timu missiles, man. The Timu missiles don't stop nothing. But very interesting, right? When you compare what Hegseth said and then listen to what Trump said, that's pretty crazy stuff. Now, of course, now that Trump's at G7 and Iran's over, they have Ukraine ramping things up. Attacked Moscow today. The biggest attack since the start of the war. This is City of London doubling down, saying we have to get this one ramped up. We need a war. We need it. We're in debt. We're in big trouble. If we don't get World War III, we're screwed. That's what they want. They want a big reset. They're trying to pull us in. And I don't think it's going to work. Trump famously turned his back on Zelensky at the G7, as we all watched yesterday. Famously just turned his cold shoulder to him. France came out. Macron said, had a difficult meeting with Trump about Ukraine. Difficult meaning he doesn't want to support Ukraine the way we need him to. And then today, Ukraine strikes with the largest strike on Russia since the beginning of the war. Tells you all you need to know, right? They are desperate and they're going to ramp it up. I think Trump, though, is going to end it. And they're scared that that's going to happen. So what do? You try to escalate so that it can't end. We'll see. We'll see how this plays out, but I'm betting on Trump. And so is Lindsey Graham. So after Lindsey, remember yesterday, Lindsey disagree with it? He's going to be in trouble. Well, he's whipping him back into shape. And this is why Trump endorses Lindsey, because Lindsey's a coward and he'll always end up supporting Trump, even though his instincts are, he's a neocon, but he always comes back around because he's scared for whatever reason. What does Trump have on him? But he said, I had a lengthy and productive discussion with peace missions and Steve Witkoff about the state of play regarding Iran. After this discussion, it's my opinion signing the MOU will be beneficial to the U.S. Pretty funny. Comes along with this big statement to support it after getting called out. Just shows you how Trump has a big hold on all this. And then, of course, Newt Gingrich. And I want to go through this because Newt is he's the signal, okay? Newt's the signal of what the establishment Republicans are trying to do to survive. Because Newt, he's smart. Whatever you think about Newt Gingrich, there's no denying he's smart. The way he took back the House after 40 years of Democrat control was absolutely genius during the Clinton term, 1994. Newt is very smart. Newt, he kind of toes the line with Trump. At his core, Newt is a neocon establishment, rhino Republican. But I got to tell you, he sees the future. He sees where the country's going, and he wants to be on the right side of history. And when he writes stuff like this, he's telling the Republicans, get in line. Get in line or you're in trouble. And this is an article Gingrich just put out. The Iranian agreement and the Trump economic boom. You see, it's funny to me because so many other Republicans on the rhino side, the establishment wing, have been criticizing Trump, not getting enough done. We're so scared. The midterms are going to be so bad, the economy. And Newt is like, guys, I have something to tell you. And this is, I'm telling you right now, this is written to the establishment rhino Republicans. Wake up, guys. Trump's about to win a lot. And you guys better come around or you're dead. That's what this is for. He says, this is a huge week for President Trump. His birthday party with the UFC fight on the White House was an amazing worldwide spectacle. First steps towards truce with Iranian dictatorship have helped with the price of gas, sense of stability in the Middle East. Capital investment boom, wave of scientific technological breakthroughs are rapidly expanding and strengthening the American economy. Negotiating with Iran, monitoring its commitment, occasionally having to pressure dictatorship militarily or economically is simple reality. Remember Reagan's advice, trust but verify. And Connie Max, you get what you inspect, not what you expect. There'll be no end to the requirement to police, monitor, and occasionally penalize religious dictatorship. Leaders of the IRGC will try to push for as much influence and flexibility as they can get away with. It's their nature. A lot of people on the right and left have criticized the upcoming agreement, even when they've never seen it. It's hard to understand what they thought the alternative should be. Simple fact is, the religious dictatorship was more resilient, ruthless, willing to endure pain than the planners who designed the campaign expected. That's a dig at Trump. It's also clear that none of the critics appreciate the size of the coalition Trump's assembled. Now, here's the warning. Here's the warning to the establishment Republicans. Guys, what Trump has put together is so much bigger than you guys are giving it credit for. We're not going back. We're dead. So get in line or you're dead. You're out. This is the warning right there. Almost none of the critics appreciate the size of the coalition Trump's assembled. That is a big line. Many countries in the coalition want to contain the Iranian religious dictatorship, ensure their own resources are not destroyed by the process. Many have responded to Trump presidency by dramatically increasing their purchase of American goods and investment in the American economy. In other words, Trump has the entire Gulf on our side. The Middle East, Trump has brought them in. Even among the most vocal critics, there are a few people who want to put ground troops. It's a country of 90 million people, blah, blah, blah. And he's giving some stuff on Trump, but let's get to the conclusions here. President Trump, this is big because Newt is a Reagan guy. He's a worship Reagan guy. This is a big statement. President Trump is the most entrepreneurial president in American history. Wow. It's how he thinks every day. His sense of entrepreneurship helps him see deals and possibilities others miss. Helps him relate to other entrepreneurs that can develop the kind of psychological momentum vital to a free market economy. Trump's enthusiasm attracts and arouses entrepreneurial risk-taking in many other people. He has a sense of scale few past presidents could match. He's attracted $17 trillion in capital projects. As he visits countries, he focuses on selling American goods and encouraging investment. Watching Trump on these visits around the world is more like watching a governor bringing economic growth to his state than the traditional aloof, policy-oriented approach of most presidents. At the G7, the world leaders will continue to move in the general direction Trump's advocating. This is him saying, City of London's done. The leaders continue to move in the general direction Trump's advocating. They don't have a choice. They'll be more willing to spend on defense, participate in sanctions against aggressors. Note the British seized a tanker containing Russian oil. They'll be more open to helping in the Middle East. They'll be more aware of the aggressiveness, toughness, which Trump protects American interests. Gigantic IPOs, the SpaceX emergence of other huge investment are more signs of the coming Trump boom. There it is. Stephen Moore and his remarkable Unleashed Prosperity Hotline know that with SpaceX IPO, nearly 4,500 Americans became millionaires because their work for SpaceX included equity. Moore also had another observation about Social Security. If President Bush's 2005 proposal allowed younger Americans to put some of their FICA payroll tax into index stock funds, value of those investments would be 700% higher today. Imagine what the increase will be like as Trump boom grows opportunity, prosperity, and security. Liberal media will try to slant everything against Trump and Republicans as much as they can, and reality will win out. People will realize how much of the current gloom and doom predictions are simply left-wing fake news. Not just left-wing fake news. Neocon fake news, City of London fake news. But, it's Newt. He's got to frame it this way. But Newt knows. He knows. And this whole article is a warning. The economic boom is coming. The Iran deal is smart. Guys, again, I'm telling you, Newt is brilliant. He's not always on our side. He has made some poor decisions, and he's a Republican establishment guy at heart, but he's too smart to go down with the ship. And this is the warning. This is the call. Wake up. It's time to get in, because this American age, the Trump era, it's going to go down as one of the greatest presidencies we've seen. And you either get along or get out. That's where we're headed. And again, Newt, he's the signal. When Newt's saying this, you better believe he knows what he's talking about. So good things ahead, guys. Good things ahead. And this Iran deal is going to go down historic. And the boom, which we've been predicting would start late Q2 into Q3, it's starting to come, and the smart people are seeing it. Get ready for things to really improve over the next few months for the last few years of Trump's term heading into 2028, where I believe we're going to win a massive victory, bigger than 24. Just wait. Just wait. All right, guys, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Thank you guys for being patient through the segment. I am going to get into the chat now, answer your questions and comments. And then next, we got much more coming. That was definitely the longest segment of the show, but we definitely have more coming. We're going to talk about Vance next, talk about the justice Trump changes he's making. We got a grifter report. We got so much to go through. So, but in the meantime, I do want to stop and check. I did see a couple super chats come in. Diana with the $2 super chat. Thank you, Diana. Says, is ARC not a multipolarity Dugin thing? No, it's not. There is... what's the word I'm looking for? There are similarities because Dugin's very smart. Dugin, he manipulates his language, but Dugin's City of London through and through. You can see it when he, in the results, how he wants things to be taken care of, who he sides with. He gives himself away. But yes, he does talk in these sovereigntist, he uses the language sometimes to pick you up, but the tell is in who he's supporting. It's all the people trying to stop Trump. The tell is that he doesn't see what Trump's doing. If Dugin was truly a sovereigntist, truly believed in that, he would be a major pro-Trump advocate because he'd be seeing what Trump's doing, just like Newt sees it. But he's not. He's City of London. He's a plant. And so yeah, I mean, but he's sneaky. Dugin's smart. He's sneaky. And so, but no, it's not what you think it is, Diana. Mario with the $5 super chat says, if Obama had done the job they say he did, then Trump wouldn't be involved in the war in Iran. 100%. Obama funded it. With Clinton's help, may have gotten them the uranium, which we're looking to find out. So, yeah, lots of interesting stuff. Okay, let me see if I was tagged anywhere in the chat. Anything else here? Let's see. I don't see too much. That's okay. All right, cool, guys. Well, again, if you have some for me, please tag me. If I'm missing it, I can only go back so far. I can't see everything. But again, please tag me if you guys want to get my attention. And also, always super chats are guaranteed. So there's that. But yeah, the longer the chat goes, it does remove my ability to go backwards. So just a heads up in case you did tag me and I can't see it. That's a problem. So, but I do enjoy seeing you guys doing this conversation, and glad to see that people are enjoying what I constantly say is the greatest community on YouTube. This chat's amazing. You guys are amazing. Great people, smart people, good conversations. And that's why we patrol it. That's why the moderators kick out the trolls, because we want people having conversations. We want people to be able to be communal and all respect, all honor in treating each other, and everybody else gets kicked out and it works out well. It does. Nick Major with the $5 super chat says supporting the channel. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate that. Lehman says, when all this settles down, we'll be in awe about how and what Trump's done to turn the ship around for the planet. Amen. I think we're already there, honestly, if you're paying attention. But yes, I agree that in the background, it's going to be, when we look back someday, it's going to be crazy. Crazy. Arlight says, I want to hear more about the uranium point of Hussein and Clinton's. Did China give IRGC the tech to take out our soldiers? Great question. Let me answer that real quick. So the Uranium One deal is going back to Obama and Clinton. Many people believe that deal that sent our uranium to Russia ultimately made its way to Iran. And then the Obama-Iran deal is what funded it to be turned into a nuke. And many people believe that Trump is trying to get that uranium so he can prove it. So, in fact, in one of his Truth Social posts, he said, bring the uranium home, which I believe was a tell. As far as China giving IRGC the tech, a lot of that tech, that defense tech at least, was Chinese or Russian, and we destroyed it all. And that's why I always call it Timu tech. So, so there it is. All right. Let's see. Why bug the guy with I say about me? What's that, Peter? I don't quite see what you're saying. Okay, guys, you ready? Let's talk about Vance. So after Trump signed the MOU yesterday, the neocons exploded. They all attacked the deal. The liberals exploded. All the Zionists are mad. They don't like it. And that's a good tell, because those are all the people we don't want to be on the side of, right? Well, many of them have now diverted their attention to tearing down JD Vance, which, in my opinion, is a big tell that they are terrified of this guy in the future. Interesting, because many people believe that Vance is somehow a plant of the technocrats in the Trump administration. He's secretly waiting his time to get things back to the bad place, to take them to the next level. Ooh, spooky Whitney Webb conspiracies. Whitney Webb, I believe, is an asset herself, as all the stuff on Vance is pretty much hearsay. There's some connections there, and that's all they are. They're trust me, bro, this connection is something massive, instead of actually having any evidence. But I tend to look at the people I don't like and I don't trust to run the country, or who are globalists, who were taking us, I should say, in the wrong direction before Trump. I tend to look at what they think about Vance, and I got to tell you, they all hate him. Right here, the New Republic, very left-wing rag magazine, JD Vance is the fall guy for Trump's terrible Iran deal. And they go on to put how Vance is secretly the mastermind behind this plan, and it's gonna be brought down on him, and they're all taking him out. It's a hit piece. Well, Ben Shapiro, he's very mad. Ben Shapiro, that bastion of MAGA. No, Shapiro is the old school establishment Republican type. If you all remember, he hated Trump in the beginning. Trump got in. He had to admit Trump did some pretty good conservative stuff. And then as soon as Trump was gone, he got behind DeSantis. See, Shapiro hates MAGA. He hates Trump. He's always trying to get away from Trump as soon as possible. But now Trump isn't the future anymore. So who's he going to go after? He's going after Vance, which is very interesting.
Say there, Ben.
Well, I've said many times, the president deciding to go into Iran and to hit nuclear facilities in Operation Midnight Hammer, and then to go after Iran's ballistic missile facilities, nuclear facilities, Army, Navy, and Air Force in this current operation was the signal act of political bravery, perhaps, of my lifetime. With that said, this MOU appears to be, just from the text, a disaster that does not achieve any of the actual signal goals that were set by the administration at the beginning. There were effectively 5 goals that were set by the administration at the beginning. One was ending the nuclear program, not just nuclear weapons, no nuclear enrichment, zero enrichment. That is not in the deal. Ballistic missiles ended. That is not in the deal. And the president today suggested that ballistic missiles should actually continue to be held by the Iranians because the Saudis, our allies, also.
Shapiro is such like a obliterate everything. He's such a neocon, man. It's crazy.
So hold ballistic missiles. Then you have the support of terrorism. That is not part of the deal. Anything that looks like an attempt to end terrorism. A permanent opening of the Strait of Hormuz toll-free. Not only is that not in the deal appears to have a provision allowing Iran and Oman to attempt to toll the strait after 60 days. And then finally, the idea that Iran would receive some sort of sanctions relief after all of those things happen. We are already seeing from day one relief in their ability to ship oil out of Iran. In my opinion, the vice president of the United States, the chief negotiator on this particular project, has not well served the president.
At the end there, it was all about Vance. In my opinion, the vice president did this. Notice that? Very, very interesting. So it's not just Shapiro. It's not just a New Republic. There's a lot of this going on out there. If you go to X right now and you type in JD Vance, you're going to see so much hate coming from the establishment wing, coming from the City of London types, the globalists, the Zionists. They're big mad at JD. And it makes sense if you're trying to take out MAGA's future. See, again, Trump's got 2.5+ years still. They can't do anything about that. They're not going to get rid of him. And they definitely can't advocate for impeachment of their own guy. They actually want to try to win this next one. No, the play now is take out the future. Eradicate JD. And we've been already seeing this in Podcastistan, Fagaland where they're all talking about Thomas Massie is president, Tucker Carlson is president. They've already been pushing this. They want that. In fact, people like Shapiro, this is nasty, but the truth is they would rather lose the next election to a Democrat than have JD Vance get in. Just like in this last one where they really wanted DeSantis. You see, I think DeSantis at his core is a MAGA type guy. I mean, he's ran Florida wonderfully, but DeSantis has a weakness, and that weakness is he's either a little too full of himself or he really has ambition that can get in the way. Because what happened for the 2024 election, leading up to the primary, the establishment people went to DeSantis, the Paul Ryan McConnell wing of the party, the Bush wing of the party, went to DeSantis, said, "You're our guy. We will support you. Let's do this." And then they had a backup in Nikki Haley. But DeSantis was the one. He was supposed to be the one that dethroned Trump. And Trump humiliated them by destroying the primaries and didn't even show up for the debates. It was the biggest flex possible. The Republican Party is mine. And these people knew they had to fall in line or they were going to completely lose their audiences, everything. Well, the seeds are already being planted to try and disrupt, knock out MAGA in 28. And that's why they're going after Vance. Meanwhile, Vance continues to be out there and he's given every opportunity to betray Trump. He's given every opportunity to be wishy-washy, to show himself. Listen, this guy has done about 15, 20 hours of media in just the last 3-4 days. And he hasn't slipped up once, which is very interesting because you'd think if you're really trying to cater to the deep state you're a part of, well, you'd be a little wishy-washy. You'd be trying to like be with MAGA, but also just a little different. And instead, all Vance does is make Trump look amazing, like right here.
He has the best instincts about human beings of anybody I've ever met. There's an almost like, spiritual dimension of where he understands whether somebody's telling them the truth or not. He understands whether somebody's trying to pull one over on him or not. There's just, it's fascinating to me because you have corporate CEOs. He's the president of the United States, right? You have people who are constantly coming into the White House and asking for things. And he has this unbelievable ability to sniff out whether this person wants this thing because it's good for America or because he wants it because it's good for him. He is the...
Now, is there anybody in this chat who actually thinks Vance is wrong on this with what we know on Trump? I would argue to say that most of you do not think that. Most of you agree with everything Vance just said, that Trump has the ultimate sniffer. He can determine bad, good, and we're supposed to believe, because most of you would agree with that. I definitely agree with that. If you agree with that, then what's the logic of thinking that Trump allowed Vance to be vice president? In fact, made the decision immediately after being shot. So suddenly Trump doesn't have judgment of character? I think that's pretty crazy. The two things don't coexist. And he's obviously putting him up. Now, Vance went on, and Ben Shapiro continues to attack him for going on these podcasts because, Shapiro and Megyn have their own fight. But it's all about Israel, right? So, Ben Shapiro is out to destroy Vance. But Vance, he keeps going forward. Like, here is a very interesting clip, especially for those who believe Vance is a technocrat. These are the people who believe that Peter Thiel is manipulating JD Vance to control the world. Yeah, the Whitney Webbers. These people, they're so smart. No evidence, except that Vance worked for Thiel and Thiel helped him get elected. But by the way, Thiel helped Trump get elected too. Does Thiel control Trump? I don't think so. But for all the people who think Vance is a technocrat, building up the surveillance state, going to take us all over. Well, Vance just had this to say about AI, and I think it's a fascinating answer.
The thing I really worry about with AI is surveillance. AI is, a friend of mine once said that AI is fundamentally a communist technology in that it allows governments and corporations to surveil people in very profound and different ways.
Wait, what? I thought you're the technocrat. I thought you wanted this to happen. Wait, what? Why aren't you touting the joys of AI, how it's perfect, how we all need it in our lives? Because that's what a good surveillance state technocrat would want, isn't it? Instead of warning us about the potential downside of AI? Isn't that what you... Hold on a second. What mastermind game are you playing here, JD? And
that scares me a lot. Like, I don't want a social credit system that's powered by AI. I don't want you to not be able to buy a beer because some tech CEO has given you a score based on an artificial intelligence algorithm that nobody actually understands.
Wait, I thought you were owned by the tech CEOs. I thought you were Palantir's guy, the surveillance man, giving all the money to take over our country and make it surveillance country, tech country. I thought that's what you wanted, JD. That's what Whitney Webb told me. Darn it.
And that scares me too. But I don't think we're going to have mass unemployment. We might have mass inequality. That's its own problem. It's a different problem, though. I think I really...
Wow. Pretty interesting stuff there. I don't know. That doesn't sound like a technocrat to me, guys. I don't know. You guys tell me. Maybe I don't understand what a technocrat is. I don't know. But this is not going to help him, is it? Because, he just, by saying this kind of stuff, realize this is the man in line to the most powerful position in the entire world, the presidency of the United States. When he talks, millions listen. Millions. And so this message just got out to millions of people. Hey, let's make sure to keep the surveillance state in check. Hey, let's make sure that we don't let this happen. He didn't skirt around this issue. He went right there. Either he's MAGA and he is what we want him to be, or he is the worst technocrat Manchurian candidate that could possibly be out there, because this would be the dumbest thing you could do, because you want people to embrace it. You want people to want this in their lives so that we can sneaky take away their rights. That's what you want. Whitney Webb, big loss right now. Big loss right now. I got to say, not looking good. Now, this is the kind of answer why JD Vance is going to be the next president if he runs. Because if he runs, he's unbeatable. And this answers like this is the reason why.
Guy who listens to the Democrat.
By the way, this is why they're so terrified of him, because he's just that good.
Guy who listens to the Democrat Party bosses, as that party has just become anti everything that is good. They're anti women playing in women's sports. They want men to play in women's sports, the craziest thing. They become anti-Semitic in the Democratic Party. They become anti-Christian in the Democratic Party. They become anti-white in the Democratic Party. And what I love about the Republican Party is whether you're black or white, whether you're a Jew, a Christian, or a person of no faith, the thing about the Republican Party is that if you work hard, you play by the rules, and you love this country, you are welcome on our team. That's not Swazi, but it's the people in this room.
Well, lock it in right there. That answer alone is a 70% American answer. Obviously, there'll still be people who vote Democrat because they'll be lied to and believe Vance is, he's the devil like Trump. But I got to tell you, that answer right there, if it was polled on its own and just a regular guy said that answer right there, 70% approval minimum. That's a perfect answer. It is a big tent answer. It is a presidential answer. That's all you need to hear. That's the message right there that wins 28, running away with it. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if in 28, with Trump's economy booming at that point, peace established, City of London broken up. If Vance runs with Rubio as VP, I would not be shocked if we get 53% of the vote, which would be a massive landslide, and way more than what Trump did. And it's, again, Trump is the best president of our lifetimes and probably will be the best president of our lifetimes. But it's not about best, you understand? It's about appealing. And what Vance is offering is something that Trump just doesn't at this point, which is the way he communicates is softer. It's more appealing to people in the middle, while he can still continue MAGA policies. And that's why I think he's important. And I believe from a divine perspective, because I'm a guy of faith, I believe God has anointed Vance to be the next person. I really do. And which is also why I believe there's so many attacks against him trying to take him out. And you know, we'll see how that goes. But I will tell you, Joy Behar from The View agrees with me. Watch this.
Hey, well, listen, he talked about his giant head for a while. I enjoyed that. All right. And then he sat down with a joke. I thought it was pretty good that his press team told him that this was a table of MAGA Republicans.
Yeah, that was funny.
All right. Let's get into your... and then apparently I'm getting a note here. You told him during the break that he should run for president because he has a good vibe.
I think that even though for a Republican, mind you.
Remember this. Joy Behar is one of the most hardcore, cracked out, mind-blown liberals you can find. She is a crazy person. And Vance was just on The View, and he won her over, not policy-wise, not her vote, but he was so good at this. This is why he's going to win a lot of people in the middle that won't vote for Trump, because he could even get Joy Behar to admit he seems like a decent guy.
I think that even though for a Republican, mind you, I'm not a Republican.
Yes, you're not turning.
I think possibly I voted for Michael Bloomberg once for mayor, who was supposedly...
you always liked Bloomberg.
Supposedly he was a Republican. I don't mind a Republican on the city level because it needs a little discipline. But on the national level, I want somebody with a good heart. And those are more in the Democratic Party, in my opinion. They care about the poor. They help people.
Hilarious.
The Republican Party is much more about saving taxes for rich people. So I'm not a Republican.
One thing he said backstage, and I think he said it a couple times today, was that he was more nervous coming on The View than he was for the vice presidential debate against Walz.
Well, he should be, because we're, the other girls have many receipts.
Yes.
Sunny, she's got all the receipts,
Yes, absolutely.
And Sarah likes to, bring in the kids, which is always like a low blow, and they get scared of that.
But sincere, I thought. She did a good job with that.
Truthfully, as I said to you in the beginning of this conversation, I don't think that he's a bad guy. So if he runs against, say, Gavin Newsom, that'll be an interesting debate to see.
Do you hear that? If you get somebody like Joy... Now, this is going to be clipped like crazy, because every time she criticizes him now, they have a clip to play. Joy Behar. He's not a bad guy. All these women of The View, watching The View, millions of women, 2.5 million women watch every episode of The View. Now, every time they criticize him, the Vance campaign can run this clip. He's not a bad guy. You understand what a big deal that is? When you understand politics, stuff like this is a big deal. So listen, what does it come down to? Vance is extremely dangerous to all the right people. The liberals, the neocons, the Zionists, the globalists, they all hate him. They all hate him. And yet he can win over somebody like Joy Behar, who's got to admit he's a decent guy. That's power, folks, and that's where our country is headed if he decides to run. In my opinion, it's already over. We'll wait and see how it plays out, but I don't have any doubts about Vance. I don't. And he's answered all the questions for me. I guess we'll find out if I'm right or not. All right, hit that like and subscribe, guys. Appreciate it. We're going to get into next about all the stuff Trump's getting done in the country. That's just amazing. The way things are shifting here domestically because of this administration just administering justice and bringing reform everywhere. So we'll get into that in a minute. But first, I do want to visit the chat. Make sure I catch up with you kids. Let's see here. All right. Looking for anybody tag me. Nope. No tags. All right. You guys are not very talkative with me today, and that's totally fine. That is totally fine. But let's see. Did I miss anything? No? Okay. Well, we'll just get right into it then. Peter says, Whitney Webb's pony trades carrots for intel. Her pony, her source. Let's see. Bible says, beware when all speak well of you. Absolutely right. You listen, if you're righteous, if you're standing up for the right things, you're going to have critics. That's just the truth. And that's where I see people with like, Trump's the Antichrist. Trump. First of all, I don't believe in a physical Antichrist. I don't think that's biblical, but regardless of what your beliefs are, the Antichrist people believe in is supposed to be beloved by all, deceived all. Well, half the country hates Trump or 30% hate him. The other half, the other ones don't trust him. Maybe the globalists all hate him. They all hate JD Vance. So it's like, okay, what do you think? Appreciate you guys. Thanks, Sniped. Appreciate you, Hunt. You guys are awesome. Ms. Monica says, plus he's badass. We saw him in the Oval with little Z, and in Germany we read the foreign leaders of Rhino. You're absolutely right. That Vance speech last year when the Trump administration first came in, when he went to Germany, is one of the great speeches ever given. And it was a smackdown to the entire European system, City of London system. And a lot of people forget about that. It was wonderful. It's such a great speech. Threads of Harris says, what would be necessary for VP Vance to take control of the Senate? I heard Thun's daughter is a nonprofit raising money for Democrats. Well, I think they could just declare it, but I'll tell you, there's a reason they haven't done it. We don't know what that reason is, but if it was that simple, Trump's either saving it for the right timing or he's concerned about the ripple effect it'll have. He might wait till after the midterms because it will be so shocking to do that there would be several Republicans freak out about it. And that could hurt the midterms. So that might be one of the reasons. Dixieland, thank you very much. Your first show. Well, I appreciate it. I'm glad you're here. Guys, if you don't mind, if it is your first show or your last show or your many shows, please hit that like and subscribe. I do appreciate the following, the support. I don't ask for much. If you do want to support the show, I want you guys to know that I am completely supported by people like you. I'm not sponsored by anybody. Nobody pays for this. All that I get is a little tiny bit of revenue from the ads that YouTube runs. And then everything else is listener supported, whether it's through the membership, which you can join in the description by clicking that link, get a free month to try it out. Discord access, 24/7 Discord, plus members lives, which I do have a class I'm going to be teaching today or tomorrow. I'm not sure if I'll get to it today. I do want to, but we did have a members live a couple days ago, all about Israel. So interesting stuff in there for members only. There is plenty of content. I try to make it worth your dollars. But you can try it out for a free month by clicking the link in the description. And then if you want to support the channel, you can stay on after the month or a super chat, stuff like that. So just a good reminder that this is supported by people, but thank you. And I'm glad you found me. I really am. But yeah, the free way to support is always just like and subscribe, help me grow and hype my videos when you're given the option. Thank you guys for your attention to this matter. What's up, Ryan Lynn? Welcome. All right. Dixieland says, you're for Trump. They will not monetize you. Well, you know what? I don't want a handler, so I don't want a big sponsor to ever come in. But YouTube does monetize me. I'll be completely honest about this. It's a monetized channel, but you guys would be shocked at how little you make off ads. You don't make much. So, again, it's listener supported, but the people, the true MAGA heads, really, there is no big support system for them. And that's okay because they need to be independent. So we build our own. We build our own business, and that's how to do it. All right. But beware all the, all the people who turn on a dime, all the people very willing to attack Trump on a dime. Almost all of them are paid. So just a fact. I can tell you that as somebody who's worked in digital marketing and digital content now for over a decade. I know a lot of things about how these things go. So, let's see here. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything before we go on. All right. I think I'm caught up. All right. Yeah, there's more to get to. More to get to. Boom, bum, bum. Peter says, Lucifer was about what? Oh, last year in the chat, long before I knew about the London stuff, I said the communists only want to tear down things, and somebody replied and said that was Luciferian. What was that about? So the Luciferian description is basically to saying it's like a system of Satan. It's a Satanist system, and communism is a Satanist system. It's very anti-God, and then there's also the Moloch worship, the child sacrifice, human trafficking, the very dark stuff I don't get into here on YouTube, but I do know about. All that is what they call Luciferian. So. Main House says, Static in the Attic recommended your channels first time here. Wow, I'm now sub. Great job. Thank you, Main House. I appreciate that. Static in the Attic. Again, I send my thanks to you, friend. You've sent about a few hundred people over here, and I really appreciate it. So thank you. Yes, Mark R. Made it. Made it to 30,000. Big deal. Big deal. If you're not making enough money, you could always run TikTok cat vids. Is that how it works? Yeah, they make a little bit. So... Thank you, Cindy. Says subscribed and thumbs up every show, even if I watch the replay. I appreciate that, Cindy. That helps the channel a lot. So thank you guys for doing so. All right. We need to talk about everything Trump's doing. So you guys realize that while all the focus is on Iran, all the focus is on gas prices, the Trump team, the administration, is actually accomplishing a whole lot more here domestically. And we see it spreading like wildfire, to be honest with you. And one of the examples is Kevin Warsh now at the Fed. This is Trump's handpicked guy. He spent a lot of time finding the perfect man for the job. And for all my friends, especially those longtime viewers who were here when I used to do market updates and stock talk, those days are long gone now because I'm much better at what I do, what I'm doing right now. However, a lot of you viewers are held over and you've been waiting for justice in the markets, which I understand. Now, my contention has always been that Trump will deal with the markets in the right time. Everything else needs to be in place first. Well, one of those things in place is getting Kevin Warsh in at the Fed. Kevin Warsh, on his very first meeting, made a major splash. And I believe this is the key and the tell that we're getting a lot of justice in the markets here soon. Kevin Warsh ended his first ever FOMC meeting as Fed chair. His message to markets: I can't give you guidance on what we're going to do next. Wow. What a major shift from what we've had the last few decades. See, the Fed has been kind of manipulating things through, oh yeah, we're going to do this, or we're looking at this. Warsh just said, nope, that's over with. That's a huge deal to the markets. Here's what he said. Inflation still above Fed's 2% target. Prices too high. We will fix 5 years of misses on inflation, he said. Oh, I wonder why they wanted to miss before. Interesting. Fed will no longer tell you in advance what it plans to do with interest rates. You mean they're not going to manipulate the markets anymore? Wow. That's the big deal. He watches stock market prices more than anything else when making decisions. That's because he has the right view of what inflation is and unemployment is. Interest rates are hurting the housing market, but not slowing down financial markets. All 19 members agreed not to raise rates. 2% inflation target not changing. He refused to say whether bond yields rising after today's decision concerns him. He refused to say whether he'd spoken to Trump. Here's a little clip of Warsh yesterday.
Fed's long-stated inflation goal of 2%. That's been going on for more than 5 years. Persistently high prices are a burden for the American people. But the recent past need not be prologue. I am pleased to report that members of the FOMC are unambiguous and unanimous. This committee will deliver price stability.
This is, again, going back to this, I'm not give you guidance. That's a shockwave, okay? That's a shot across the bow. And what he's saying is, I'm going to reform the Fed. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. A little more on this. Let's listen to Warsh.
So I think financial markets perform best when they react to incoming data.
Whoa, hold on a second. Did you hear what he just said? That's free markets, friends. I think the markets react best when they react to the data, not us. We're getting out of the controlling the economy business. That's a big statement right there.
I think the financial markets work less efficiently when they ask a question, how will the Federal Reserve react to that incoming information? The more that markets are paying attention to what's happening in the real economy, deciding what's good data and what's less good data, the more financial markets can price what they believe is the most likely and what are the tail risks. Financial market prices are probably the most important source of information to guide central bankers. But when all the financial markets are doing is reflecting back what we've said, then we're taking the most important source of information and we're being blind to it.
Wow. This is a big difference. So, guys, this is the signal things are about to shift majorly in the markets. This was Warsh's first meeting. He's only been there a couple of weeks. So, yeah, we're not getting the rate cuts yet. They held him. But looking ahead, he's not giving us the answer. Which way to go? You know what happened after this? The market freaked out. And they were like, oh, he's going to raise them. We're not going to get our cuts. But Trump wants the cuts. Warsh doesn't think inflation is what they tell us it is. I think we're going to get cuts soon. And the economy is going to be running red hot by next year. But Warsh isn't going to tell us. And then interesting. So things are shifting there. Another place things are shifting is the Maha movement. Oh, yeah, listen. RFK, one of the most attacked people, one of the people we get the most psyops about. They're kicking RFK out. He can't get anything done. He's about to step down. All lies. RFK's crushing it, and they have every incentive to get him out because he's hurting Big Pharma. He's hurting the whole massive food industry, which is poisoned our food. The tobacco companies that bought our food companies in the 80s under Reagan have poisoned our food. The Big Pharma just wants us all on drugs all the time. He's hurting all this by bringing real health truth to the people. And here's the latest initiative from Maha and the man they just can't get rid of.
You get paid if the addict stays unhealthy. Oh, you go to a rehab, and if you relapse, the rehab gets paid twice. Well, we haven't aligned the economic incentives with the healthcare incentive. And, we are one of the things that we're going to prioritize through these NOFOs are organizations that do this, that bring the entire process together and take accountability for that addict. And the other priority is outcome-based or value-based care. You get...
Apologize, guys, because the sound was so bad. But what he just said is RFK says time recovery clinics are rewarded for helping people get better, not for repeat clinic visits. This is the same approach to the entire health industry he's taking. Hospitals, physicians, yes, get incentivized for less people coming to you, not keeping them on drugs forever. Guys, that is the single most important shift to happen to kill Big Pharma, or at least to set them back significantly and lessen their power. It is to get off the every fix, just prescribe somebody, keep people sick. Oh, here's a med for you. By the way, it has a side effect, so take this for the side effect. And that one has a side effect too, so take this for a side effect. You go in with one issue, you come out with 15 pills, and by the way, good luck getting off of them. Because once they're in your system, statins, anybody? These things are horrible for you. Horrible for you. And I'm not saying in some circumstances they're not necessary, but they overprescribe probably thousands of % of versus people who actually need them. This is a big deal, and this is why they hate him so much. And they're going to keep pushing it. See, the Trump administration is cleaning up all kinds of stuff. Markets, health, a parent's rights? How about that? Harmy Dillon today. Big push on getting parents back the rights over their kids.
Today is a new day for parental rights in America. I'm thrilled to announce that the Department of Justice's Civil Rights Division and the Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights have just signed a historic interagency agreement to protect you, your children, and your families in our nation's schools. Years ago, Congress passed two clear, powerful laws. First, the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, aka FERPA, and second, the Protection of Pupil Rights Amendment, PPRA. Those laws are simple and clear. A school cannot hide your child's educational records or curriculum from you, and it cannot force your child to discuss sensitive topics without your consent. But too many schools have ignored these protections, twisted the rules, and kept parents in the dark exactly when their children needed them the most. That ends today. This new partnership between the Departments of Justice and Education gives real teeth to what the law already says. Federally funded schools cannot hide information from you or shut you out of decisions about your own child's education.
Do you understand what this is saying? This is a big flipping deal. Trump, who campaigned on getting rid of the Department of Education, he has completely defunded it and fired pretty much everybody, but he can't officially get rid of it without Congress. Okay, they're the only ones who can pass a law to get rid of it. However, he just flipped it on them. He just flipped it on the liberals by partnering with the DOJ. They have now turned the Department of Education into the justice enforcement wing for the education of our nation. Public schools, universities. Yeah, now the Department of Education isn't going to be funding you and making things gravy for you and giving you these nasty, terrible systems like going back to the Obama years. No, now we're going to be the enforcement wing of civil rights for parents. This is awesome. This is awesome. And this is how the Trump administration continues to show they just solve problems. Oh, you can't do this? Well, we'll figure out how. Oh, you're not going to let us do it that way? Well, then we'll do it this way. We'll stick within the system. We're not going to break the law, but we will figure out how to get done everything we want to get done. This is a big deal. All of a sudden now, this is the Civil Rights Division. Parental rights are now considered civil rights to be enforced as civil rights. Guys, that's what it should be. That's what it should be. These are the kind of things that really matter and nobody talks about. But we are changing it. The Trump administration, they are not just focused on one or two things. For everybody who's like, oh, Trump just cares about Iran. Trump only cares about foreign policy. He's not getting anything done here. Oh, yeah? They're not just doing one thing here. They're doing everything. Every part of the federal government they can affect, they are affecting for our good. And that's why. You guys wonder why they hate him so much? They'd be fine if he just did one or two things and backed off. But no, this Trump team came in and said, we're going to fix everything. There is no problem too big or too scary for us to go after. That's huge. And that brings us to Todd Blanche, who just announced an establishment of a national coordinator to lead the fight against child exploitation and human trafficking. with the goal of preventing, prosecuting, and ending human trafficking and child exploitation in America. Quote, ending human trafficking and the exploitation of children has been and remains one of the highest priorities of the Department of Justice. With today's appointment of Ali Serrano, we're sending a clear and unmistakable message to predators. We're coming for you. Mama, Epstein files. This is the Epstein class. They don't care about victims. They don't care about victims. Where's my green crayon? I need to eat my green crayon. Epstein class. These retarded people out there saying the Trump administration is not doing anything. They are doing the most about trafficking victims than any other administration in history. And I would say worldwide, not just in America. This is the most pro-child administration we've ever seen. Pro-family, pro-children. And they are reversing the disgusting things that have been allowed in our country for decades and were severely ramped up under Obama and Biden. They're taking them down, protecting kids. They're going to destroy the predators. And guess what, guys? Thomas Massie isn't going to talk about this, is he? No. Hey, release the Epstein files. I need to know if Bill Gates is worse than I thought. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. And it's not that Epstein wasn't a big deal. Don't get me wrong on that. But the push on it is. And the proof is in the pudding. Oh, 250,000 girls raped in Britain? We're not going to talk about that. Oh, 400,000 kids trafficked here in America under Biden? Whatever. The Trump administration shut down 3 million pedo sites, caught 3,000 pedophiles, saved over 100,000 children. We're not going to talk about that. What about Epstein? That's all we care about because that's how you know. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. It's such a joke. They are doing it and they want to take your focus away from it by yelling out Epstein. But it's not only this. The Trump administration also going after Antifa and these left-wing groups. Trump administration delivers crushing blow to Antifa terror network. Last year, Trump designated Antifa a domestic terrorist organization, directed the full power of the federal government to hunt down, that's the first words, I love it, disrupt, dismantle the violent anarchist network. This week, Department of Justice struck a decisive blow by charging 15 Antifa-linked terrorists in a conspiracy to violently obstruct lawful immigration enforcement in Minneapolis. Minnesota, 15 Antifa operatives charged with coordinating violent attacks. Oregon, since mid-25, dozens of Antifa militants have arrested and charged. Texas, in March, 9 members of North Texas Antifa cell convicted. Washington, in May, multiple Antifa insurgents convicted. New Jersey, in May, Antifa thugs violently laid siege, resulting in dozens of arrests and federal charges. California, in December, Antifa extremists charged and coordinated bombing plot. Indiana, Antifa-linked terrorists sentenced for threats to bomb government buildings. Trump administration made clear Antifa terrorists and their networks will be investigated, disrupted, prosecuted, and neutralized with full force of federal law. Meanwhile, Bessent is defunding all of them. But Trump's not doing anything. I'm so sick of it, guys. I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of the morons who come into my chat, who comment on my posts, who hit me up on X trying to act as if Trump is not doing anything. It's so stupid. Every single person. And yes, if you're watching right now and you're one of those people and you think Trump's not accomplishing anything, Trump's just helping out the deep state, Trump's just making billionaires richer, I have a phrase I want to share with you. And I'm going to help you out. I'm going to wake you up a little bit here by giving you a truth. You're a retard. Sorry. I know that was mean. But sometimes you just got to tell the truth. If you love America and you're anti-Trump, you're retarded. I'm sorry. It's just the facts. I just tell the facts, folks. I'm looking at the facts right now. Every single thing we've wanted for decades, Trump administration is at least trying to fix right now. Not saying they'll succeed at everything because there's a lot to do. But they're obviously trying. They're trying, and they're getting a lot of success. Yeah, including even the Canadian border. What? Here's Mark Wayne Mullen talking about all the arrests we're making on the Canadian border as well.
Our gun on the ground, we've seen more pressure coming across our northern border. We've arrested roughly 78 different nations, nationalities coming across our northern border now. The biggest percentage of the individuals coming across our southern border are from Mexico. With that comes a lot more activity. We arrest a terrorist, one either on the watch list or a wanted terrorist on our northern border almost weekly. And then we see a lot more drugs. Over the last year, we've apprehended enough fentanyl that would kill 17 million Americans on our northern border. That's an increase. We see it constantly increasing. And so the cooperation between us and Canada is vitally important because we've dealt with it. We know what's going to happen. We see the amount of increase of criminal activity that's happening, and we see the same techniques that are on the southern border that are moving to the northern border.
Interesting. So Canada's basically a third world country now. Just FYI. But look, they know it. They're dealing with it. That's what's important. That's what we need to be taking from this. Southern border is almost completely shut down. Now we got resources to go after the northern. It's getting better. More and more is being taken care of. Even the stuff most people don't think about. So while all this is going on, guess what? Story today. Thune admits some Senate Republicans hate Trump too much to support the Save America Act. What? So President Trump's only doing everything these guys have ever ran on as Republicans to their voters, the promises of all this stuff. We'll reform this. We'll get regulations down. We'll be the party of law and order. We'll be the party of being tough on the border. Trump comes in, does all of it, and they hate him for it. That's all you need to know. All the evil people, all the establishment people, the globalists, the rhinos, the liberals, they all hate Trump. And that's what they're trying. Thune's admitting it now. Why is he admitting it? Because they're digging in their heels, hoping they can get a win. They don't know what else to do. Trump is winning so much right now, has so much momentum right now, that he's just being honest at this point. He's like, I don't know what to tell you guys. We just hate him. That's a tell. And you better believe Trump sees this. And what he's going to do is dig in himself, which he already did, saying, pass Save America or no FISA. Oh, these people want FISA. Pass Save America or you're getting Bill Pulte. Yeah, Trump's fighting fire with fire. And I got to tell you right now, Thune, I have a feeling, you can't kick him out this second. Well, you could, but politically, not the wisest move probably. But after the midterms, some tells me Thune's going bye-bye. Some tells me that's coming. Now, we have more wins coming, I really believe. The Supreme Court, which did release decisions today, hasn't done any of the big ones yet. We're getting to the end of June. They need to be released. Well, the Supreme Court told us today that instead of its regular Thursday release, it's moving up some opinions to Tuesday. You know, the last time they did this, we got big decisions. We got tariffs. We got Voting Rights Act. Tariffs, not so good. Voting Rights Act, excellent. Well, we might be getting the mail-in ballots decision next Tuesday now. Because whenever they move it to a Tuesday, we almost always get one of the big decisions. Let's hope we see it, because that would be huge. So with all this winning, all of it, the health, the markets, the education system, taking out Antifa, breaking child trafficking, all this going on, I don't think any of it's temporary. I think this is all going to be lasting change, because the most important change, as always, isn't just a policy, which is very important, but can be changed with a new administration. The most important change, which continues the trend, is always cultural. And this came out today, and this is happening now because the Trump administration is making an environment for it to safely grow. A majority of Americans say it now would be good for a society if more people were religious. Guys, that's a big shift. That's a big shift. And we're seeing this more and more. Revivals breaking out in our country. Pro-America breaking out in our country. Well, that shift is why we're going to sustain this going forward. Because what's happening is in the last 10 years, you could go back even further. Let's say the last 15 years, you've seen a major contrast. We had super liberal Obama years. We had the first Trump administration kind of get us back on track a little bit. We had the insanity of the Biden years where they went all out crazy liberal. And now we get this Trump administration, which is bringing sanity and common sense back to our U.S. and enforcing things, making real changes. And guess what? This is the kind of sign that people actually like it that way. Because if nothing else, this is a major Christian administration, very openly pro-Christian, openly pro-family, openly pro-child. And Americans are starting to say, you know what, this is better. It's better this way. And that awakening is what helps us go forward and make all these changes we just went through, from the markets, health, all the way down, all the stories we just covered. It's this which will make it sustained. And that's why I feel very positive about where the future is going. We're watching the greatest presidency in modern history happen right now on our watch. And as long as we keep pushing forward and don't allow us to forget, we stay involved, the future is very bright for, I believe, a long time looking ahead. All right, guys, hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for your attention to this matter. We're getting into Fagaland next. Grifter report time, baby. I am going to catch up with the chat for a minute. Let's see. Soar sent some jewels over and mic drop and 100% of flow state. Thank you for that, Soar. I appreciate the fun stuff you're sending over. But let me make sure I wasn't tagged by anybody and missed it. So we can keep the conversation going. And then next 3 segments are shorter, especially the last 2, but they're fun and interesting. But Grifter report is next, which is, a lot of your guys' favorite part. Let's see here. I thought I saw something, but maybe I was wrong. Miss Monica says, I love the word retard. I'm 55 years old. It's part of my vocabulary. I love it. It should be a part of everybody's vocabulary. It's so appropriate for calling it out, for calling people out on being stupid. Anything else here? You guys have your own conversations going on. I love it. I love it. Good stuff. Grifter reports, says Taya. She's all excited. All right. Well, let's get to it then. Fagaland. Tucker Carlson has some opinions over what just happened with the MOU with Iran. So he just did his last show on it and about the peace deal meltdown. Well, obviously we're not going to watch the whole show, but we got a couple interesting clips for you because Tucker, man, he's not even trying anymore. He's not even trying to pretend that he's not grifting with us. I mean, listen to this.
Watching all this stuff for the last couple of days, and your instinct, of course, is always to enjoy the hysteria and the suffering of neocons, considering how much suffering they've imposed on the rest of us for the past 25 years. I mean, it's almost incalculable. No group has done more damage to the United States. No group has come close to doing the amount of damage to the United States.
I mean, neocons have done a lot of bad, but the most damage to the United States, I could think of the communists doing a little bit more, and their complete utter takeover, the globalist takeover of the Democratic Party. But I digress. But we could all agree neocons are bad. So okay, Tucker, I'm listening.
The neocons have done over 25 years. So when you see them go totally bonkers and start rending their garments on Twitter, you're like, I kind of enjoying this. On the other hand,
well, what? Wait, what? Okay, so hold on. Now he's going to say the neocons have a point.
You just got to be honest and say, I get it. You went into this thinking this would be the war that allowed Israel to fully take over and control the Middle East. They would have no more real imminent threats. And yet, in one of those ironies that define life, the war ended up radically diminishing Israel, radically strengthening Iran, which you consider the existential threat to Israel, which is absurd, but they think that. They've talked themselves into believing that, some of them. And you lost the only president you had full control over. Trump went from being a slave to Israel to comparing Benjamin Netanyahu disfavorably to Al-Qaeda. Man.
So hold on a second, Tucker. So Tucker Carlson, who's like the most as far as like having the most following, okay, the biggest following, been the most outspoken, crazy anti-Israel guy the last, at least a year, maybe even further back. And most anti-neocon guy, okay, he's been trying to play these sides. And now he comes out and is like, oh, wait, the neocons have a point. And then it's, oh, they lost Trump. So now, hey, guys, I guess this is the new narrative. Because Trump was controlled by Israel, right, Tucker? That's what I thought. He's controlled by the neocons, right, Tucker? And now he just pissed them both off. So now the narrative is they lost him? How does that even make sense? What possible logic gets you to that point? Instead of just admitting maybe you were wrong the whole time? This is a crazy talk. What a way to frame it. So literally nothing's changed as far as like what Trump's been trying to do and accomplish and how he's run stuff. Nothing. But now all of a sudden they lost him. That's crazy. I don't even know how you get there. That's insanity. That's like the most like wild backtrack way to get there I could think of. But what's it tell you? It tells you that their narrative isn't sticking. And they're kind of panicking right now. They thought they had Trump dead to rights. They thought when he went to Iran, he'd get stuck. They thought when he went to Iran, like they'd be able to double down on Trump's control by the Israelis and the neocons, and Trump would just continue to prove them right so they could fracture MAGA. And now it's all falling apart. If nothing else, this is the big tell that they were lying to us the whole time. And this is their way of admitting it. They lost him. Come on. Are you kidding me? In the next part, MJ Truth writes, Tucker Carlson appears to be struggling with the level of 5D chess Trump's playing. So here's more from his breakdown, trying to figure this out. And honestly, it's just a scramble because Trump he outplayed them, the podcast sphere, so well that now they're scrambling to hit a new narrative.
Someone who knows Trump very well once said to me 15 years ago, long before he became president, said, in the end, Trump disappoints everyone. Everyone who loves Trump is in the end disappointed, from his ex-wives to his former political allies, you name it. They're all disappointed.
I want to raise my hand. Not me. I'm not disappointed. I love Trump. I'm not disappointed. But, regardless, 5 people. You know what's funny about Trump, by the way? All of his exes, Ivana, what's her face? The second wife, I always forget her name. They all still stayed friends with him. They all still speak highly of him. Interesting. Sorry, Tucker. I just don't see it.
And it looks like it's Benjamin Netanyahu's turn to be disappointed. Here's Donald Trump today at the G7 in Europe describing Israel's behavior.
And you'll see that when you see the agreement, but it's appropriate that we release the agreement. And we did send a copy to Israel, by the way. They've been a good partner. Again, I think they could do better with respect to Hezbollah. I'm not saying they shouldn't protect themselves. I'm saying when 2 drones are shot into the desert and drop harmlessly, you don't have to knock down buildings in Beirut. They could behave better. And frankly, they could do a better job. I love them as a partner. They were terrific, but they could do a much better job with Hezbollah.
Ooh, that's not quite a slam of Netanyahu, Tucker, that you built it up to be. Is it?
Wow. Consider that for a moment. And he said a lot of things like that in the last 24 hours. But just in that statement, he said, by the way, we sent Israel a copy of the agreement.
Where's the celebration, Tucker? Shouldn't you be celebrating that Trump has proven he's no longer controlled by Israel? Because this is what you've been throwing at us now for weeks, months. This is what the whole phagosphere has been throwing at us. Trump's controlled by Israel. He's a neocon. He's AIPAC. Shouldn't you guys be celebrating? Oh, we were wrong about Trump. Where's the honesty? Where's the humility? No, instead now they're turning it into a bad thing. I mean, come on. These people are so, it's like, if you can't see through this, what's wrong with you?
Well, you sent them a copy, did you? You BCC'd them? Didn't consult Israel. They're a participant. They're our partner in this war. This is a joint war we are waging with the government of Israel somehow. First time in American history that's ever happened. Not a good idea, by the way. Note to self, don't do that again. But as of right now, we are waging a war with Israel, and we just reached the outline of a peace agreement with the country we are fighting with Israel without consulting Israel. We sent them a copy. Bitch. That's exactly what that means. Shh, adults are talking. That's exactly what Trump is saying.
No. How about we weren't waging that war with Israel? How about it was our war? And yes, Israel we allowed to help. But again, that's what happens. That's the way to look at it if you're talking about the truth, if you're telling the truth. But Tucker's not interested in the truth. He's interested in narratives.
To Israel. Then he goes on to say, yeah, I mean, I think what they're doing, and I understand you got to defend yourself and everything, but like, it's brutal what they're doing. It's brutal what they're doing in Beirut, in Lebanon, blowing up apartment buildings. At one point, not in that clip, but in another from yesterday, he said, I just think it's just too much. It's just too much. I think going forward,
look how angry he looks. I think he look crazy angry. I think he's really mad that this happened because it's ruining his whole narrative he's been spinning the last few weeks. So he had to sit down, do an hour plus talk to all of us just by himself, no guests this time, give us his breakdown because he's like, I have to get this under control because we look so bad right now that Trump just pursued peace and isn't like beholden to everything Israel. It's crazy, but look how mad, look at that face.
We may leave the fight against Hezbollah.
And he's very red. Did he just have like 10 whiskey sours before doing this? I don't know. What does Tucker drink? Anybody want to guess?
Hezbollah to, I don't know, Jelani, who runs Syria. He's a good guy. Let him handle it. He'll do it in a more measured way. Now, Jelani, of course, is a former Al-Qaeda leader.
There it is. The arrogant Mickey Mouse.
Running Syria, really in thanks to Israeli pressure, because Assad, who is literally a practicing medical physician educated in Britain, he's just too radical, meaning too anti-Israel. So we have to have the former Al-Qaeda leader, Al-Qaeda, which they told us did 9/11. I don't know if you remember that. Remember those 19 Arabs with box cutters who killed 3,000 Americans? That was the story anyway. One of those guys is now our ally in Syria. And by the way, that guy, the former Al-Qaeda leader, he's just a more reasonable person.
But Tucker, what about Trump being controlled by Israel? I don't understand. Like what? If he's appointing the Syria guy, why would Trump, in what possible world where he was controlled by Israel, would he just all of a sudden leave Israel out of the deal and then, based on your breakdown, appoint this Syrian guy in charge of taking out Hezbollah? How does that make sense? How do you get there, Tucker? You're stating what happened, but you're not telling us why your narrative of the last few months just went up in flames. Like literally, Trump took everything from Podcastistan, all the FAGA narratives, and he took them in a pile, put gasoline on them, and lit the match. And they just went, poof. That's what just happened to your narrative, Tucker. You're not, where's the connection? How did this happen? How did this happen?
And he's just more humane than Benjamin Netanyahu. I mean, I like them all. They're all good guys. But really, if you're looking for
So now Tucker's saying the Jews, who Netanyahu was the most evil man in the world, that he's less evil than the Syrian guy. Because that's how Tucker's logic works. Listen, we're not going to do this anymore. This is crazy. Tucker, I can't do it. I can't do it. The lies, the insanity, the jumping around, the just word salad that he's providing, it's crazy. It's crazy. He's just saying nothing. He's saying nothing. And you can tell, like, the anger is there, the furrowed brow, the red face, the 10 whiskey sours in. He just had to spew some nonsense because he doesn't know what to do right now. He doesn't know what to do right now because his grift has been exposed in a big way. And he's going to lose a lot of people who trust him over this. As Gerald Morgan posts here, according to Tucker Carlson, the American empire ended with the signing of the MOU with Iran. He says the mask is fully off. Yeah, I'd say Tucker is left out there dangling and exposed, naked, hanging from the tree. We all see it now, Tucker. You can't, pretty obvious. And it keeps going. Bongino is out there just breaking down the lies Tucker spread last week. He did a whole nother segment just blasting Tucker. Here's a little clip from it.
I had to crop the other guy out, but he was involved in the case. He's told us multiple times he was completely satisfied. Yet Miranda, Tucker, Joe Ken, no, he told me otherwise. Then go ask, get it on the record. Go ask him. You just had him on your podcast. Why didn't you ask him? Oh, look at that, the Daily Caller. Isn't that Tucker's outlet, guys? Tucker founded the Daily Caller, right? Trump says he's very satisfied with the official narrative on Butler assassination. Melanie Wilcox, Daily Caller. So he told the Daily Caller he was completely satisfied. Yet they have hidden information they can never produce. Oh, I heard that. I heard it. Really? No one else heard that. It was just you. See, unlike you with secret knowledge, this is actual receipts.
Secret knowledge.
These are actual facts. Like, that's out there. You can look up the article yourself.
I love it. I love it. It's spreading, guys. They are just crushing these narratives. It's so funny because look, they all went out during Iran. I called it the second, my channel has grown a lot in the last 3 months, more than it's grown in the last 3.5 years combined. Okay. Leading up to the last 3 months. So a lot of you are new, but those who've been watching will tell you that as soon as they started criticizing the president over Iran in early March, on this show, I called out and I told everybody here, and the longtime viewers will acknowledge this, that it was all assets deployed time because they all showed themselves. Tucker, Megan, Candace, Alex Jones, Ian Carroll, Nick Fuentes, bomb, back and forth, name, Dave Smith, Clint Russell, you keep going. They all revealed themselves in March, right when Iran happened. Why? Iran is the key to City of London maintaining a lot of its power for a myriad of reasons, which we've covered on the show many times. So you can go watch my old stuff to hear all that. But you can go to my old videos and see all assets deployed. They all came out. The problem is they hung on themselves all out naked, showed who they really are, showed that they are not on our side, attacked Trump, Epstein class, Iran, no forever wars, we're now in a war, owned by Israel, AIPAC, all that stuff. They just went all out, completely abandoned everybody they said. And guess what? Nobody followed them. We didn't split MAGA. Well, maybe it'll last. We'll just keep hammering it home and maybe it'll fall apart. Oh, wait, there's a deal? Oh, wait, it's over? Oh, crap. What do we do now? You see, when you go all in, there is no coming back out if you're wrong. And these people were wrong. A good reminder. This is Alex Jones on April 3rd. The day after he said, had Kyle Serafin on saying Kash Patel is going to be fired today. Still waiting on that one. Been almost 3 months. Regardless, Alex Jones is always right. Right? Except when I'm wrong, which is all the time. I'm always damn wrong. Damn it. They can't know that. I got to pretend I'm right. Well, I'm going to come out and say, has the U.S. ground invasion of Iran already begun? Neocon war propagandists are claiming no U.S. aircraft have been shot down despite the fact Pentagon confirmed it. But U.S. ground invasion is coming, baby. It's coming. You better. Oh, in fact, red alert. Iranian shoot down of U.S. warthogs, major signal Trump's preparing to launch a ground invasion. Well, chalk that up to things that didn't happen. Sorry, Alex. You're wrong again. You're not the only one. Tucker, Megan, Candace, Dave Smith. Yeah, I like saying their names because I like to call these losers out. These hideous people that lie about everything, that try to destroy our movement, that try to take us off course. They're evil. I'm sorry. That's the only way I can look at it now. I hate what they're doing. I am angry. Alex Jones, Joe Kent, all these people who have betrayed our president when we needed them most, when we needed people in the media telling the truth, breaking it down, showing what's really happening to the people. Nope. All these people in the places of power, places with lots of viewers, they all betrayed them. They all turned and made themselves known by lie after lie after lie. Now we know them. Now we see them. Some of them we knew before. Some of them we didn't see until they fully revealed themselves. That's okay. Everybody falls for a psyop once in a while because we're always psyoped. It's impossible to have 100%. So don't feel bad about it if you got sucked in. Don't feel bad about it if you believed Robert Barnes when he said Massey was going to crush his primary and then got his ass beat by 10 points. Don't feel bad about that. Robert Barnes has been grifting a while, but it's, not everybody woke up right away. Don't feel bad if you kind of believed Marjorie Taylor Greene was a true believer at first until it became more and more apparent that she was lying about everything, that all she cares about is herself. When she ran off, quit 1 year early her elected office and ran off to Costa Rica to a $5 million mansion. Don't feel bad that it took that to wake you up because these people psyop all the time. Don't feel bad that you liked Alex Jones. I used to like him. I used to like Tucker. Don't feel bad. They ran psyops on us for a very long time, but they were deployed because Trump finally got to the point, just like the Biden administration showed us exactly what the Democrats are doing, woke up a bunch of Americans, the grifter sphere, fagosphere, podcastistan, whatever you want to call it. These fake MAGA heads, America first, these liars all revealed themselves when it became desperation time. When City of London is so weak and losing by so much, they can no longer afford to have double agents. You can no longer be undercover, guys. We need you out. We have to fight. It's our last chance. That's why they all came out. And you can see it. You can see it so clearly now, especially the more you look back. Because Alex, I told you guys, this is going to be a major war. Oil's going to 135. Oh, the economy's going to crash. The world economy is going to go into recession. We're going to go in. We're going to be sick. Trump betrayed us. He's a Bushite. Nope. None of it's true because Alex is a total grifter loser. And now we all can see it. As Alex Bruesewitz, by the way, Trump advisor, which is good for us. This guy's talking to Trump. Many of the influencers and anonymous accounts trashing President Trump and JD Vance efforts to reach a peace deal are being bankrolled by foreign countries who want prolonged conflict. Others are bankrolled by those vying to run against MAGA in the Republican presidential primary in 2028, and some of the others are just flat out dumb. You guys think they know? This is, again, this guy knows Trump. These influencers bankrolled by foreign countries who want prolonged conflict? Interesting. That would be City of London. Oh, calling it out. You think they're worried? You think they're scared? Candace Owens out there? I'm not bankrolled by anybody. Alex said it last week. I'm not paid. I'm not paid by China. I'm not paid by Russia. I'm not paid by Iran. Nobody pays me. Why didn't you say City of London, Alex? I thought you were the globalist conspiracy guy. Shouldn't you mention them at least? No. Didn't want to get caught there, did you? No, sorry. But the good news is it's picking up fast. People are waking up fast, as Marjorie Taylor Greene just launched her show. Marjorie Taylor Greene, 20 hours ago, 2,000 views. Guys, my little humble show, my show that nobody knows who I am, just a few thousand people. I'm not a big name. I haven't run for office. I didn't fight President Trump to his face. On a bad video, I get 2,000 views. Marjorie Taylor Greene, well-known American name, can't get 2,000 views on a video. Can't get 3,000 views on a video. What? That's crazy. Because nobody's caring anymore. Megyn Kelly's views are down like 50%. Candace's are down about 25% from her high. Tucker's still holding in there, but Tucker's got a lot of people watching him from foreign countries. Those are helping inflate. We'll see if it lasts. But I got to tell you, we're winning, and it's stuff like this that proves it. Because they can't keep up the lies anymore. It's been too obvious. The lies are falling apart, and with that, all their influence. So, bye-bye, faggotards. We won't miss you. It's a beautiful time, guys. We are winning so hard. So what are they going to do? Because they shot their load too quick. Trump's still got almost 3 years left. Uh-oh. Good luck controlling the narrative from here. Okay, guys, if you don't mind, please hit that like and subscribe. If you enjoyed this segment, I did see somebody tag me. I want to make sure I get to it. Let's see here. Lots of Poetry said, so Tucker knew this long ago, but he cheered for Trump in the last election. Yeah, I mean, he did what he could to get in with us and then betray us. Our Light Life says, honest question, is there truth to the notion Tucker and JD Vance are close? I know Vance fired his son, but he had to for optics. Well, I don't believe they're close. So Vance, who we know he's close to, we know he's really good friends with Don Jr. and he's really good friends with Rubio. Those are the only, and he was really good friends with Charlie Kirk. Those are the only people we know for sure he's friends with. Him and Tucker had a connection, but who knows what that connection was? Did they meet and were friendly? Tucker's all over DC. He's got a long-standing family. Vance is young. He's 42. He might not have known that much about Tucker because Tucker's been MAGA since 2022, right? With going against Biden. That's when I started liking Tucker. So, maybe Tucker schmoozed into him, got his son a job. But I'll tell you, as soon as Tucker turned, Vance fired his son or let him go. We don't know how it went down, but he's no longer there. As soon as Tucker turned in March. So that tells me, because remember, before that, Tucker even was still meeting with President Trump. So Tucker had even gotten Trump to think maybe he was all right for a bit. And don't judge too harshly these connections. They all know each other. They all run into each other. Don't judge too harshly if they didn't know right away. Sometimes, these people, like Trump's very smart, but he's not all knowing. Vance is very smart. He's not all knowing and he's younger. So did they have a connection? Yes. Was it close? I don't think there's evidence of that. Motley Crue with the $10 super chat says, I cannot stand the sound of Tucker Carlson's voice. It literally makes my skin crawl. That was difficult to listen to. You need to post a warning before showing a clip of this retard. That's great, Motley. Thank you so much. And thank you for the $10. I appreciate that. You're absolutely right. I should come up with a warning for the Grifter Report from now on, huh? I've actually been thinking about putting together a little intro for it. I just haven't been able to get one together I like in the time I've had. Snipe says, do you think all the assets are controlled by simple money or even blackmail acquired by CIA through nefarious means? Good question. I don't know. And it doesn't matter ultimately. I do think, so if you look at, Candace has always been a grifter. She's jumped back and forth since she first came on the scene in the mid-teens. We have Tucker has CIA connections and deep DC connections, long time wealth. And so, maybe he's always been an intel asset and paid just to move certain ways. Alex Jones, his family, he's admitted had CIA ties. So maybe he's just always been an asset as well. Maybe they're paid. Maybe they were raised to just, there's an old phrase, once you're in the CIA, you're always in the CIA. Does that pass on to your kids too? I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? Candace married a House of Lords, the son of a House of Lords member who's connected to MI6. So there's a lot of intel stuff on there. And sometimes, it's money. Tucker, he got an investment from Qatar to start his new channel. So, I can't tell you exactly how it's done, but I can just tell you that it's pretty obvious that they're all getting fed narratives by somebody. And that's ultimately all that matters. Who knows why? I sound just like Alex. Thank you. It's not hard. You just got to think like, how can I make my voice sound like somebody who has been drunk and smoked too much for 30 years? Then you can sound like Alex Jones. It's not that hard. $10 super chat from MCM came in. Thank you very much. It says VP's best friend is Vivek. He named his child after him. Best friend? Maybe. Or is his wife closer to him? Regardless, Vivek, he's a weirdo, but he also says some great stuff. Best friend, do we have evidence of that? Did he name him after Vivek, or his wife's Indian? Is it like is Vivek a big name in India? I don't know. I can't answer that. So, you need more evidence than just he named his son after him. I don't know how popular the name Vivek is in India. So we don't know those things. I mean, Vivek is a young dude, just like JD. Do you really think, like, I have my best friends? I have a few friends I consider best friends. One of them I've known since first grade. I didn't name my kid after him. That's a weird thing to do. So you really think he named after Vivek? I don't know about that. I don't know, but maybe I'm wrong. That's weird. But thank you for the support. I appreciate that. Let's see. Anybody else here? Our Light Life says Vivek is common in India. So there you go. Smokehouse, a $10 super chat, says, I got it. Iran was waiting for the peace deal to be signed to launch the super duper hypersonic master blaster missiles any day now. I love it. That's one of those things that I called out from the beginning as well. That whole nonsense. In fact, let's go to the page. I wonder if they kept up the post. The died suddenly page when they talked about Iran. This was hilarious. I remember covering it on my thing and just laughing about this page, about this post here. Let's see here. By the way, it sucks because this page was like, I kind of liked it for their coverage of vaccines, but man, they just said this. They came out with the stupidest stuff. And I mean, you can look at all their stuff on Iran has just been crazy wrong. But where's the one big post they had with their super duper secret source about the missiles? I guess it's not here. Now, is it because my search isn't pulling it up? Let me see if we can do. If this will find it. It looks like it's not going to bring it up. But I remember covering a post of theirs where they had this super duper secret source who's never been wrong before. And they told them that they had crazy missiles that they were going to unleash. And it was going to be, it was like they were going to unleash it on us and to beware. But then I mean, look at this nonsense. 750 troops have been wounded or killed. We reported it was already 500. Well, now the war's over, and guess what, folks? Only 13 people were killed, and there's no body bags. There's no families out there screaming that their child was killed and wasn't brought up. You think you could hide that on X these days? This is so stupid. These people lie so much. Where's the other one I just saw? That was hilarious. Oh yeah, Trump's preparing to deploy the troops on the ground March 18th. I mean, it's just the lies, the absolute crazy lies they send here. I think I saw one that was sources. Oh yeah, this is it. Here it is. We found it. All right, here we go. The investigators that died suddenly have received a very concerning piece of intel that we wanted to share with our followers regarding the war. Over the course of 4 years, this same source has given us intel we have shared that's never been wrong. I covered this the day it came out, and we laughed about it in real time. You can go back. Go back. This is, when was this posted? Go back and find my video around March 17th. Well, here you see, I wrote them on March 17th. This post doesn't even logically make sense. So Iran held back their big missiles for weeks to get absolutely shellacked. You realize how retarded that is? First time in history a country sat back and took it on purpose. I wrote that March 17th. Say those are the receipts, baby. But like, feel free to pray about this. Use discernment, what we're about to share. Do you understand? I've been a Christian and in the church my whole life, okay? Grifters use this to make you think you're actually Christian. That you're actually, like, they do that to dupe Christians. Oh, they're using discernment. They pray about it. No, it's nonsense. It's not that it's nonsense for them to say pray and do discernment, but they use this to suck you in. America has only 1 week of missiles left. That's so stupid. Joe can't resign for a simple reason. He knows the Iran war is going poorly. I've spoken to several national security sources. This is a summary. America's a week away from exhausting our supply. The current supreme leader survived the strike. America's no good options. China's weighing an invasion of Iran. U.S. casualties have reached 500. And then where's the super duper secret missile part? Where is it? Oh yeah, here it is. Iran knows this has intentionally kept back their biggest, most advanced and deadly cruise missiles. So funny. So funny. This aged well. In fact, I'm going to post that right now. Oh, just to remind everybody how stupid these people are. Guys, again, there's just psyops everywhere all the time. All the time. It's crazy. And listen, if you watch this show, I do my best to cut through the noise all the time. And, because some stuff just doesn't logically make sense when they're lying to you. And if you understand, if you trust Trump, if you understand what he's trying to do, it's pretty easy to see through most of the psyops. It's not possible to see through all of them in the moment, but I'll tell you, and I say this all the time, the number one way to detect a psyop is that it's blackpilling. Okay. Black pillars are always either psyop, like they're pushing psyops, or they believe a psyop. Because there's always hope. There's always a silver lining. There's always ways to make things better. There's always solutions. And anybody who tells you otherwise or acts like there's not, they're trying to discourage you. And that's the number one way to see a psyop. JD and Vivek went to Yale together. So, okay, so Vivek's a close friend. That doesn't bother me though. I have friends that are liberals that I love. Being a close friend with somebody does not mean you agree with them. So, I think of these things logically. So I get it. People think there are a lot of things that we don't like about Vivek, but there's a lot of good things about Vivek too. I don't like the H-1B stuff. I don't like what he said about Americans being lazy. That stuff's dumb. But it doesn't mean JD agrees with him on that stuff. Again, we got to be careful with the guilt by association stuff. But MCM, thank you so much for the support of the channel. I really appreciate it. Let's see. They know the missile count exactly. Yep. Let's see. Kay says, spot on about black pillars using keywords to pull in and trick Christians. They do. And it's not just Christians, it's everybody. But yeah, they use that to get Christians in. Violence says they try to use our shibboleths to make us lower our defenses. Yep. Yep. Jalen asks, how do the king and queen fit in with the city in London? I love William and Kate. Well, you know, we don't know the exact ways, but we do know, like, the crown owns more property than anybody else in the world. They're still very, very popular. The Commonwealth, which is New Zealand, Australia, Canada, etc., they're all controlled by British Empire still, which is City of London system, which is the crown is a part of that. You know, to go to the City of London, the king actually has to ask permission to the mayor of City of London, which is a square mile inside of the actual larger London. So how do they fit in? I don't know all the details, but are they a part of it? Absolutely. Does that mean William and Kate are? I don't know. You know, how far does the acorn fall from the tree? We don't know. Could it be that they want to fight back? Could it be they'll change things? Possibly. Or could it be that they're forced to come in and they decide to acquiesce? We don't know. We don't know. I can't possibly tell you that. But can I tell you that the crown is associated and close to City of London in some way, shape, or form? Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Okay. I got two small segments I want to cover left. Okay. And not because they're huge news, but because I think there's something important in each of these. So let me knock these out because these will be relatively short, both of them. Excuse me. I know that annoys people. That's why I do it. I get people who are like, I hate when you take a sip of your drink. I hate when you smack your lips. I'm like, okay, sorry. You're going to nitpick that one thing out of my entire show? I hate that. I'm like, sorry. It's people, man. People will be mad about anything. Isn't that crazy? It's just crazy what people get mad about. Okay. Obama. Are they calling it quits? Barack and Michelle have been making the rounds yesterday since they did their opening of the Obama Library. And they said some really interesting things, as Jesse Water covers right here. Now, the question is this a show? Or is it a symbol that the deep state's actually losing? Are they starting to go backwards? And the Obamas are going to go into survival mode. But let's listen as Jesse covered this. And I think this is very interesting.
Coach Barry called a meeting, told the team he's not suiting up.
I think Michelle very much would prefer a quieter life for us.
Hold on a second. I want to make a correction here. It says Barry benched by the boss. It means bench pressed by the boss. You know, that's how Michelle Michael gets her guns right there. But just saying, yeah, that made me laugh.
And on the other hand, there have been some folks who would like to see me out every day, right, banging the drum. What I've tried to do is to move from player to coach.
Michelle wants him off the court and on the couch. And the missus always gets her way. Problem is, Barry built this team, and they're 0 for 47.
We've got a set of institutions that have fallen victim to the siren song of everything's about money and everything's about attention and everything's about fame
Those guys are such frauds,
and everything's
man.
about
Obama's
getting over. But meanwhile, there are just a lot of people out here who are just doing the right thing and raising their families and taking care of people.
Does this look like a defeated man or what? Where's that Obama confidence? Where's that like projection of the voice? This looks like defeat. They look like defeated people. Look at their faces, the frowns, the soft eyes. This isn't anger. This isn't defiance. You can read it in their body language. The Obamas look defeated.
You know who Barack booked to open his library? The Boss, Springsteen, Christina Aguilera, U2, John Legend, Stevie Wonder. The man's hosting a Chicago Palooza for himself and his billion-dollar library. And you're lecturing us about seeking fame, fortune, and attention? What about the podcast, the books, Netflix, the 4 homes? This guy was just campaigning in New Jersey. Can't get enough of himself. He thinks the country needs him, but he really just needs to get out of his own house. Michelle's like, can we have hope and change without my husband?
Could that movement that you started then, could it happen now, Mrs. Obama, do you think?
It can always happen. People just have to be fed up enough. They have to want more.
This language, guys, the things they're saying, this is defeatist. Like they're basically telling everybody, like, we can't win unless you guys want to win. This is defeatist talk. This is the talk of somebody who knows it's over. And pulling out, stepping back. I've always told you guys, because going back to 2024. Oh my God, I can't tell you how many times people would be like, Michelle's running for president. Just wait. They're going to switch her in. They're going to switch in Michelle Obama. We're going to lose, man. It's so crazy. I'm so scared. Because they believed all the podcast grifter types who, made up those conspiracies. But I always said, everybody who knows the Obamas knows they're lazy. They're lazy. They ran their 8 years. Obama didn't build a bench up. Despite his popularity, he could have taken the Democrats to the next level. Nope. So when Obama leaves, what do the Democrats have? A bunch of young morons and then old guys and gals, and they're dying off. He left it. He turned it over to old ass Clinton, Pelosi, Bernie. And he was like, cool, I did my 8 years. I'm out. It's Martha's Vineyard time, baby. Sometimes I'll call in. You guys want to pay me, $1 million sometimes for a speech, I'll show up. That's what they did. Michelle's out. She hates the public sphere. And I always said that. And I was right. And now they really want out. Why? Because the more they're in the spotlight, the worse it is. They know that, we know they're corrupt. Obama, he kind of controlled the Biden administration through phone calls, but that's, phone calls. Just on vacation all the time. They wanted to live their life and go off into the sunset as liberal heroes for the rest of their lives. And they hate that they keep getting called back. And Michelle's a tell right here. I still get it. Watch out. They're going to run Michelle in 2028. Just watch. No, they're not. She hates the spotlight. You can guess why. Probably don't want some things to come out. Don't want anything to slip out. But regardless, it's pretty clear now that they're using her as the excuse now for Obama to step back too, which it's very possible they got the call. Excuse me, Barry, is that you, Barry? Yeah, we got all the dirt, Barry. Yeah, if you keep fighting me, I'm going to put you away forever, Barry. Well, what are you saying, Don? Don? You guys got everything? Barry, we caught you on everything. You're in trouble. You're in big trouble. I'll tell you what, we can maybe make a deal. You get out of the spotlight, never help again. Let the Democrats die. And, we'll figure something out. Well done. Okay. Who knows? But this is very interesting. On the eve of the triumph of his nasty library, they're pulling back. Michelle Obama posting this up there. This is like a goodbye post. And interestingly enough, 1:13 a.m. Why are you posting so late? Barack and I never did anything alone. Through 2 national campaigns, 8 years in the White House, and the years since, we had an incredible team backing us up and pushing us forward. Such a joy to be back together with so many of the alumni. We'll forever be grateful for their work. Our country's better off thanks to their service. We love you. It sounds like a goodbye. Maybe I'm misreading it. Maybe Jesse's misreading it. But it sure looks like they're stepping down, doesn't it? Pretty crazy. Meanwhile, they went off with a bang as all the deep staters joined to watch the opening. Biden, Bush, Clinton all showed up. Somebody the other day was like, what if Biden's actually on the MAGA side and he's behind the scenes? I was like, I don't think so. Well, here we go. Biden's showing up to Obama's opening along with Bush, Clinton. This is the pomp and circumstance of the dying deep state, the dying globalists. They're fading. And I'm telling you guys, if Obama's stepping down, there's not much hope for the future. Not for the left. And it's just a good reminder of how, selfish these people are. Here's Michelle Obama when asked about her future.
One word to describe your next chapter. One word.
Fun.
Me.
What?
That's what you call drop the mic.
Me.
Me. And that is the entire Obama doctrine right there. It's always been about the Obamas. They Manchurian candidate to push the left agenda to destroy America. They failed, but they were always just in it for them. And, now they can go off into the sunset, and hopefully they do. Be better for America for sure. But, when they tell you who they are, listen. And in the meantime, guys, to me, this is just this goodbye post, these interviews. It's the ultimate sign to me of capitulation. Because again, this is a defeated looking person. And if Trump's pulling off what we think he is, they got all the goods that say Tulsi's already revealed, hopefully more to come. Grand juries right now, it would make perfect sense for them to get out of the spotlight now, which it looks like they're doing. So who knows? We'll wait and see how it plays out. All right, guys, please hit that like and subscribe. I got one last quick thing we're going to get to. But first, I did see a couple questions come in. Thank you, Sniped. I appreciate the compliment. Violent says, fun fact, there's something called misophonia where mouth slurping, eating, smacking noises bother people. Well, sorry. Let's see here. Michael's miserable. Yeah, she is. Obama's not going out, maybe saying it because we know he's meddling. He meddles. He meddled in Israel. He's a meddler, but I'm telling you, this is something different. And because this wasn't meant for us. They went on Good Morning America. They said this at their library. Michelle posted that to her followers. This messaging is not for us. That's why nobody's covering it except me and Jesse. But you're not gonna see it in many places. Dixie says, what was more interesting? There was nothing said about opening the library until yesterday, the day before. Why now? Probably, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they just sent out invites and didn't run it publicly. Who knows? Maybe it's just Obama's not interesting anymore for the mainstream media. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Who knows? Is Alex still going to make phone calls? Is Obama still going to make phone calls? Will he still be kingmaker sometime? I'm sure. Unless this is total defeat, So who knows? Angela said, I love it when she said mic drop to Michelle saying me. Michael drop. Love it. Are they going to Hawaii? I don't know if they're Hawaii people. They are, they're Martha's Vineyard people. So, but yeah, I mean, Barry came in to destroy America and completely hand it over to the globalist city of London. They couldn't do it in 8 years. They never thought they could. Hillary was part 2. They didn't do it. Trump stopped her. And so he hung around. They really ramped things up in the Biden administration just to see if they could pull it off, and they couldn't. And so now, we'll see. Regardless, we'll follow. I will tell you this, 100%, they're not running for any office anymore. 100%. I was right about that in 24. I'll be right going forward. So, okay. Last thing I wanted to show you guys. Joe Rogan on the UFC fight. So this is interesting for a myriad of reasons. Joe Rogan, for the last few months, has been saying that he didn't think the fight holding UFC at the White House was a good idea. Rogan's always the ultimate middle guy, right? If you want to know what the muddled middle is thinking, go to Rogan. He's great on some stuff, and then he's a pushover on others. But they held the fight. He was there, and it wowed Rogan. And I want to show you guys this clip because I'm telling you that fight, that event on Sunday night, UFC 250 Freedom, was a shift in our culture. And everybody who is there agrees. Listen to this.
And it was insane. And you could hear them roar. So you hear the crowd from here, and then you hear 85,000 people. And it's fucking rah! You could hear it in the distance. It was insane. I'm a hyperbolic individual, and I'm always like, this is the greatest, this is awesome. Like, that was the wildest experience that I've ever had in my 20 whatever years of calling combat sports. There's nothing even close.
That's a huge thing for Rogan to say. That event was by far not even close. Anything as cool as that, every UFC fight he's been to. That's a big deal coming from Rogan.
Even close. It was the greatest night of fights of all time. The main event was the greatest fight of all time. It literally was the greatest fight of all time. Ilia Topuria, in many people's eyes, is the most skilled of the new generation, and the new generation is the most skilled of all time. And Ilia was like the top of the mountain. And most people thought that he was going to be too much, and he was too much for a while. And he almost took Justin out in the second round. And then Justin rallied. And then Ilia, it looked like he got really damaged in either the first or the second round, and he was having real trouble seeing out of one of his eyes. And then Justin started landing bombs in the third round. Ilia had slowed down quite a bit. It looked like he had really tried to finish Justin in the second. And sometimes when you try to finish a guy, you just hit the gas way too much, and you can't recover in between rounds. And Justin recovered, and Justin started battering Ilia in the third and fourth, and by the end of the fourth round, Ilia quit on his stool.
Obviously, Rogan was impressed. Rogan matters, okay? And I don't think Rogan's a grifter. I think Rogan is, I think he is who he says he is. I really do. I think Rogan's a true seeker of truth, and he's still the biggest podcast in the world. So when Joe Rogan, who has a bunch of liberals still listen to him, he comes out and just says that's the greatest thing I've ever seen. Guys, I'm telling you, that matters, and it's going to spread, and more people will check it out, and more people will see it, and they'll feel good about America. This is the shift I'm talking about. It reaches the places we need to reach. It spreads, and you get that patriotic feeling. Heading into July 4th, our 250th anniversary, this is the kind of stuff that matters culturally. Because as culture shifts, so goes the nation. Politics is downstream from culture. Here's Rogan again. One more thing he had to say on it.
It was amazing. One of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life.
That's cool.
It was fucking amazing.
Wish I was there.
Oh, my God. I talked a bunch of people into going that didn't want to. Like Shane Gillis was thinking about not going. I'm like, bro, you got to go. It's going to be epic. It's going to be a once-ever thing. Not a once in a lifetime. Once in anybody's lifetime. It's never happened before. It's probably never going to happen again.
Probably not.
No. Like, that's something you have to see and experience.
Yeah.
And so many people are trying to make it a partisan thing. Like, they're mad at people for being there. Like, oh, you support Trump. Like, it's a fucking fight at the White House. Doesn't mean you endorse foreign policy. Like, shut the fuck up.
This is what we need to hear. This is the wording you need to hear. Okay? This is the, F you energy that we need for the critics. And again, Rogan, he says something like this, it makes it cool. It makes some people feel like, oh, it's acceptable to say that. And I know, like, a lot of people don't want to think this stuff matters. It does. It does. It impacts tens of thousands of young men. And young men who think this stuff's cool, who realize Trump's the one who put it on, who feel good when they're at MAGA events, when they're around MAGA stuff, they're like, oh, this feels great. Yeah, F the haters. Young men bulk up. They get that little intensity in them. That's a shift they'll carry forward. and it will continue to build in them over time. Because young men, guys, I'm telling you, they need that FU energy. They've been raised, the liberal guys, the guys in the middle, they've been raised by school systems, college systems, their crappy jobs, telling them, pushing all this woke stuff on them. And now you get something that makes them feel good to be men, that raises their testosterone up, that gets them excited to be manly, masculine. That feels really good. And then you hear the podcaster you're always hearing saying F you to the haters. That feels good. And all of a sudden, you're not as easily swayed. I'm telling you, this kind of stuff matters. UFC 250 mattered, and it's going to have a lasting effect. And if you don't think they're worried about it, in response to Rogan telling people to shut the F up, Hunter Biden had to tune in and give him a whole breakdown on why he's wrong. They're deploying Hunter Biden now for this kind of stuff. I'm not even going to read this nonsense. But the White House belongs to all of us. This is just so stupid. I wish I could sit down with you and explain why so many were offended by the UFC fight on the South Lawn. Do you guys think they're worried? This is a tell. The left, the globalist sphere, people in charge, they're deploying. They're trying to use this guy, get him out there, and they're trying to send a message to push back because they're scared, guys. The culture is shifting, and that's big trouble for them. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me today. I appreciate you guys. Went really long today, 3 hours, 20 minutes. Woo! Told you we had a big episode. But guys, please, before you leave, hit that like, hit that subscribe. I really appreciate you guys watching. I got stuff I got to go do, so I don't have much more time to get into the chat. But you guys can come back tomorrow, 12 o'clock noon Eastern time. I will be on again Friday for so many, and we'll do it all over again. But please hit that like, hit that subscribe. Think about supporting the channel by joining the membership, which you can do so by getting into the getting into the description and clicking the Patreon link, get a free month, and test it out. Try out the Discord, try out the members live, see what you think. Let's pray and get out of here. So Heavenly Father, thank you for today. God bless everybody watching, everybody who is a part of this movement, and everybody who cares about the truth. Bless them, Lord, in their lives and their relationships and whatever their needs are. Father, we pray for protection, wisdom, and discernment and courage for President Trump and all his team, that they continue winning and not being afraid to solve impossible problems. God, we pray for our country, Lord, that you would bless it. We thank you for the miracle you gave us that saved us and brought us this far. We pray that you continue to shift the culture, stir people's hearts in the right direction, and God, that we can have a country full of more justice, prosperity, and peace than we've ever known in our lives. And going forward, it gets better and better for our kids, grandkids, and great-grandkids. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen. Bless you guys. Have a blessed day, and I will see you all tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. God bless.
Headlines screaming like a siren at night. Red and blue shouting, nobody's right. Smoke in the streets, truth under attack. Everybody's loud, nobody's got facts. Feeds keep scrolling, nerves stay tight. Matchsticks flicked in the dead.